nowhere. I was in shock. We were on vacation and he looked at me and he said, I don't feel connected to you anymore. I want
to. Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. Listen, it's crazy. We're talking to you guys about Married at First Sight reunion. Can I just be honest with you? Josh is a bastard. I'm sorry. I'm probably not going to get no interviews, but I've got to be honest with you. Josh is a bastard. Yeah, nah. I got to be honest with you. Josh a bastard. Okay, because there is no reason why he dragged her to the altar, married her, said yes, stayed with her after the reunion. Sorry, stayed after the decision day, and then you drag her to Burning Man, like I said you should, and then you say a couple of months later you can't do this, bro. I'm sorry. What are we doing? I want to be real with you. You know what I mean? Like, what are we really doing? Now, Josh came out looking bad. I can't lie to you. I wasn't feeling it at all. Because again, look, I backed him all season long and I understood, but I think we can all agree. And I don't blame old girl either because she did what she was supposed to do. I do blame him though. Because if she comes to Burning Man, stays the entire time, chills with you, wears the attire, it did everything you said about community, and you still let her go, yeah, bro, I'm sorry. Your abandonment wound, but you know what it is? We as an audience knew as soon as he kept a girlfriend around, as soon as Josh kept a girlfriend around, we all knew that something wasn't quite right. And I tell you that because when people allow people to orbit their life, their exes to orbit their life, they're not ready for a relationship. Most of you are not ready for a relationship. You let your ex orbit around you. You're not ready for a relationship. You know that already. You and I both know you're not ready for a relationship. You haven't been ready for a relationship. You're not going to be ready for a relationship. Okay? So yeah, I thought it was top class bastardry from Josh, and all the excuses that he made as to why he didn't want to be with her, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Diabolical behavior. We've got to talk about Chad. You know what? Chad, you're on your fourth marriage, my brother.
Every night it was him sitting on the couch, drinking. There were times I'd wake up like at 2-3 in the morning and I would actually go move the glass from his hand because I was afraid it might like fall and break. And I mean, we did end up having.
Yeah, Chad got a drinking problem. Simple. Chad got a drinking problem. I'm not gonna behoof you. Chad got a drinking problem. Okay, like a couple of seasons ago, we had that girl that had a drinking problem. Listen, he got a drinking problem. A little bit. You can tell. You know, too much drink to soothe his pains and his cries, to soothe his heartaches. Yeah, brother. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like your brother. You know, I think there's too much of that drinking stuff that's been happening on that side of things. I don't think he's the only one to blame. We saw Belinda already, so I don't think he's the only one to blame. But you know, the reason why they didn't work out in a sense was probably because they said the anger aspect or whatever was an issue. We kind of saw that a little bit in the show as well. So I kind of knew that was going to be one of the issues with them as well. In that space. Yeah, probably. Yeah, you're right.
And kind of climbed on him and may have like maybe scratched him a little, so he got upset. He was yelling, saying the dog was being aggressive, and I told him he's just a curious dog. And then he yelled at me and said that the dog was untrained and didn't know how to behave.
And that dog was always going to be a problem. I mean, that dog, I don't know why, I don't know why the dog has so much say in his household, bro. The dog doesn't pay bills. The dog is not not allowed to vote. The dog doesn't cook, doesn't clean. Okay, all right. The dog is a nuisance, bro. The dog is taking up air, space, and it needs to be trained, and it needs to be walked, and it needs to be looked after. It's a child, bro. Okay? It's a child, bro. Child. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that was a bit of a suspect thing right there, cuz I can't lie. As well. So, it's a bit of a wild one, you know what I mean? So we're gonna definitely see what go on there. You get me? It's gonna be an interesting one in that respect as well. So yeah, I will talk about them in a second or two. I won't go too deep just yet. We'll definitely get round to them as well. Okay, who's the next one? Let's go. The next one was okay. Yes, Will and Brittany, of course. They also had their situation. Okay. All right, they had their situation. Let's get them as well. You know what I mean? Because I think their one situation was also interesting as well, to say the least.
Your relationship with Brittany?
There isn't one. We haven't spoken in a long time.
Really? Brittany, when was the last time you guys spoke?
Like over a year and a half ago.
I just want to say this one more time again. Brittany is one of the finest babes on Married at First Sight. Without a shadow of a doubt. I want to say that again once more. Brittany is one of the finest babes that has been on Married at First Sight. And there's been some fine babes on Married at First Sight. Okay? But I think I'm trying to recall back to some of the finest babes that's been on the show. She's been one of the baddest we've seen. But sis, the mind. If the mind don't match the body, there's a gap. I said this at the very beginning. Okay? All right? I said this at the very beginning. The mind needs to connect with the body. The body can't be a baddie, but the mind is not a baddie. Okay? You can't be a baddie in the body, but your mind is just bad. Come on, sis. Come on. We out here going to people's houses, putting out letters outside the door. Sis, come on. Come on, sis. We got to do better than that. Okay? All right? We gotta do better than that. You know? Gotta do better than that, man. It's tight affair. Okay? Tight affair. In that space, you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Let's chop up another couple who also we need to discuss, because boy, everybody was going through it, blood. Like, I can't lie to you. Everybody was going through some kind of nonsense as well. Now, the one that I'm the most happiest about is this couple right here, because baby,
Purity was a complete turnoff romantically. For example, Pat, as you guys saw, showed up on decision day and said he did not want to stay married and changed his mind. He went from being this like, I'm
glad that Pat changed his mind, because Rhonda is an emasculator. Okay? I want to say, that this situation, Pat is a lucky man. Okay, I'm glad that she managed to get out of that situation. I'm glad that he managed to get out of that situation. I'm glad he left her alone. Because how is she going to be talking about she was turned off sexually? That's why she couldn't give nothing. Well, sis, all right, cool. All right. I hear you, sis. No, you was turned off, sis. I hear you. We need you to leave that man alone. You know what I mean? That man was pushed to the edge of his patience. The reason why he had anger issues because she had pushed him to the edge of his. She pushed him to the edge of his patience, bro. You know, my guy. I'm like, fam. I'm like, listen, sis. We barely saw his anger on the show. Okay, so now you're gonna start painting this man like he a narcissist or something. Hey, babe, we didn't see the anger that much on the show. Now I'm not saying they didn't hold resentment. I'm saying to you that, babe, like, why are we acting as if like this man suddenly flipped the switch and suddenly became this angry Hulk man behind the scenes that we didn't see? Moving mad. Okay. Now, the final couple, of course, that didn't go through, we thank God, because honestly, it was kind of abusive. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I had a miscarriage.
And I know that's something very hard to talk about, having experienced that in my life.
Now, I want to be fair and be real. It's sad that they went for a miscarriage, but thank God. It's sad they went for a miscarriage, but thank God. Because that woman would have ruined his ass. Ruined him. Because he would have been in an abusive situation and he would have not been able to see it, would not be able to do anything about it. He'd have just tolerated it. And then the kids are asking why dad left mum, and now he can't explain it. I said, oh, thank God you're out of there, bro. Thank God you're out of there, bro. Because fam, I'm just gonna be real with you, bro. Fam! You were stuck in the twilight, B. Okay, old girl's trying to make excuses for her behavior because her and Chad are the same. I said her and Chad are exactly the same, and now she's doing the I wanted to be loved. If you want to be loved, baby, then you needed to leave that man alone. Stop trying to treat him like he's you know what I mean? Crazy stuff.
The way that it happened was like, dude, that was so uncool.
Breaking up is there's never a good time to do it. It's always going to be hard. I knew.
My boy said, listen, I had to get out of there for my own sanity. Man said, I had to escape for my own sanity. And when he tried to escape, now she's angry about the fact that he escaped. When should he have escaped? Huh? At what point should he have escaped? That's what I'm trying to find out. You know what I'm saying, Chew? When should he have broken up? How was he meant to break up with her? What was he meant to say? What can you say in a breakup that's going to make someone feel better about the breakup? Nothing. A breakup is hard nonetheless. Nonetheless. Man had to do it quick. You know what I'm saying, Chew? All right? The boy was being abused. If a woman had been abused, we wouldn't complain about how she broke up with him. He was being abused. There was no way. He had to get out of there. He had to get out of there. I don't care how he did it. He doesn't owe her doing any kind of face-to-face thing. If you are an abuser, you don't owe anything. If you're abusive in your behavior and language, I'm sorry. No, he don't owe you nothing. I'm glad he texted her and got out of there, bro. Because before you knew it, you'd have gone to speak to her face-to-face, twist her up. Before you know, you're on the news. I'm glad he got out of there. I'm glad he did not go and speak to her face-to-face, if that's what happened. We have no clue what she'd have done. She's capable of doing crazy things. I'm sorry. No offense, but she's capable of doing crazy things. You can shout, scream, turn on him. Like when people threw a water balloon and you suddenly switched, but you were happily doing pranks on everybody. But nah, people like that, scared. I'm scared of them. Okay? I'm scared of them. Okay? I'm scared of them. I'm scared of people like that. Okay? When they start moving like that, I get scared. So yeah, I'm not with the shiz. You know what I mean? I'm not with the shiz. You know what I mean? Sometimes you gotta quit people off guard. You get me? Because if you get stuck in there, you're back in the nonsense again, bro. Look at man, look at he looks like a shell of himself.
The right person for me. Yeah, I had to be true to myself. I had to be true to Megan.
When he broke up with me, something in my head changed and I couldn't remember anything good from our relationship. I just remember all the bad.
Imagine someone tells you, listen, when they broke up with me, all I can remember was all the bad. It was coming. That kind of thought process is coming. She's gonna. I can only think. As soon as he's broke up with me, all I can think about was bad. How, Sway? And then when you watch the show back, I remembered all the good. I said, yeah, you know what, bro? That's see that revisionist history is exactly why he can't break up with her face to face. Someone like that will be like, oh my God, he did this, he did that. They've forgotten that they did what they did. You can't win people like that. Scary people like her. People are scary. You know what I mean? Shoot, I'm sorry. People like her are scary, bro. You gotta leave them alone, bro. You go and catch something. I don't play with people like that, bro. Before you know it, bro, you're in a Nino. We don't play with people like that. She's scary, bro. She's scary. I can't lie to you. But look, it was a good reunion. There's some good conversation that was happening in the time, and I got some people behind the scenes who are gonna chop it up with me and just kind of talk about the reunion and talk about what they thought about Married at First Sight. And I'll tell you, man, it's It's real, B. It's real. It's real. It's real. All right, let's get into this, man, and let's talk about some of the show, man. The sad thing is the baby, though. I do felt that, you know. Someone said because of the baby, do you not think that it deserves more of a heartfelt goodbye? Nope. You need to get out of there quick. Sometimes it's more friendly to cut someone off quickly and efficiently than to drag it along and try to be nice about it. That a person like that who's willing, you don't know what she'll turn it into. Before you go and see her like, you want to leave me now? I've just had a baby. It's past it. It's better to cut it off quick. It's better to cut off quick. Sometimes you have to cut it off quick in order to save your life. Because if now she comes out with an allegation, it don't matter whether she lied or not. It's always going to be something in the back of your mind that goes, did he do something to her? Did he touch her? No, you can't. Once an allegation goes out, no matter what you say. You know what I mean? Yeah, he did. He said, Will said, be mean. And look, Brittany was coming to his door. Some people you can't, man. You know what I mean? You can't, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't, bro. You can't mess with that sometimes. You just got to be mean sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to cut people off quick. Robert Greene from Art of Seduction said sometimes it's cruel to drag somebody along after the seduction has ended. The seduction is done. And so the most thankful thing you can do for that person is to cut them off quick so that it's painful now, but they get over it quickly. Then to drag them on, letting them have a chance, slowly dragging them across the cobbles. Better to finish them quickly than to be dragged across the floor. By the way, listen, I've got some people I'm going to do this live with and talk about, obviously, Married at First Sight as well in this space. Let me get El Cidio Hall and let me get my precious on. My precious. What's goody? What are you laughing for, Fresh?
My expression, because the way you said my precious.
Sorry.
It's his way of saying it.
Maybe I shouldn't be in the middle, okay? Maybe I.
No.
Let me get closer. Anyway, let's get into this. I blame El Cid. This reunion was an interesting one, and I think within 50 minutes, can't lie. This is a good reunion. They did everything in 50 minutes, what most reunions do in 2 hours. I thank God, because they do a lot of Married at First Sight unnecessarily. They do the whole group conversation, then they go and sit them out personally, and then man, after a while it's like it's an hour at least back-to-back shows. I'm like, please, I beg. This was 50 minutes. Now we could have had a bit more questions, of course, but I'm glad we got what we need to get. There was nothing else to talk about. People had broken up. They finished. And they did out here. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Elsid said, nah. There's more to be deciphered. There probably was. They could have gone deeper, but I don't think you need to drag out anymore. Why do you think there should be more?
I needed Keisha Knight Pulliam. I'm sorry. I've always had, Kevin always been on the fence with me. I needed Keisha because there's a lot of stuff that was left out there, because when I don't know where we're starting, but when Derek, sent the text and then she said he moved out a week later, was she there when he moved out, or did he plan it when she was at work to move out? There's a whole lot of questions I have with that. Then Megan working for Chad now, and she's the only one speaking up for him on the couch. I need somebody to kind of dive into that, because it was weird for me. It was weird. There's a lot more. I'm glad. Yes. We were well fed in the hour we were given. Very well fed. I still think it should have gone like the following week instead of hit us with decisions and hit us with reunion. We didn't get to digest the decisions before everyone wants a divorce. So there were some things for each couple that I wish we would have dived in further, because while Miss Brittany is saying she going over to the house to check on Jalen is sitting there like, me? My apartment? Jalen's expression was like, okay, we go in with that excuse, then I will just roll with it. So there's a lot. It is a lot. Like when we saw when we get to it. But when we saw Brittany asking him when he's leaving with his bags packed to say you love me, we need to unpack that. And I think Keisha Napoleon would have gone further with that. Like, girl, what are you thinking?
Definitely hear you. Precious, what do you think about this reunion?
No, I like the fact that it was efficient. I think, yeah, there was just a lot that was missing, and there was a lot of information, a lot of questions that just weren't asked. Because Kevin don't care like that. He doesn't really care like that. So I think Keisha would have been a really good person to really start unpacking some of the crazy excuses people were using, because there were some lies being told on that reunion. Full, full face lies. So I think, yeah, she would have been able to unpack it a bit more. But for what we got, yeah, it was good. It was an efficient reunion for an efficient season, so I can't complain.
All right, definitely hear you. Let's get straight into this because, of course, we'll go chronological order. There was a lot going on in this season. You know, Burning Man did what Burning Man do. Okay, Burning Man did what Burning Man do. Now, obviously, I said, you know, I said that obviously, um, you know, I said obviously that in the situation that I felt like with you know with what's that? Why is that name going in my head now?
Jalen.
Jalen and Josh. I felt like I hope his name is Josh because I don't know. I keep calling him Josh. His name Josh? Okay, cool. Because I was about to call him something else. I was like, I hope his name is Josh. I keep calling him Josh. But Jalen and Josh, you know, I think obviously we knew that something was off. The attachment to the ex was just crazy, unnecessary behavior, but it exposed him in a way that I think was really good. I'm kind of sad for Jalen. I don't think Jennifer did anything wrong. Of course, I think there's always things she can improve on, but I don't think she did anything necessarily wrong in terms of in this situation. Yeah, I don't think she did anything wrong. She tried to do the Burning Man. You know, every tip that I gave her, she heard me. And I can never be mad about someone listening to my tips and it not going right for you. You know what I mean? Like you tried. You went to Burning Man. You enjoyed yourself. In fact, you even liked it. She might even be there herself next year at this point, you know, just to spite him. But you know, it didn't work out. He ended up sabotaging, I feel like, and getting rid of her. But why do we think he got rid of her? Why do we think that after the lights, camera, and the action went, why do we think Josh decided to leave the situation with Jalen? Okay, I want to know your thoughts on this. Precious, why do you think it didn't go well?
I think he got comfortable, and I think he he started to connect to Jalen. Um, he comes across as somebody who likes that initial like honeymoon phase when everything is hunky dory, the adrenaline is pumping in his veins. There's, you know, it's easy to push someone into adventure, and you know, you can do all of these fun stuff because you don't really know the person yet. You haven't really, you know, embedded them into your life. And I think as soon as he started to see, okay, we're past the honeymoon stage now, it's becoming serious, there's feelings involved, all of these things. I think he just that was the kind of point where he was like, I'm not really feeling this. Because also, I think it would be interesting to see what his past, because that's one thing we didn't get this season. We didn't get a full understanding of what his past relationships were like. How long were his past relationships? Because I have a feeling that his past relationships were probably around this same length, and that this is a cycle that he does. Like, because the way he just cut it, this is definitely what he does. He goes, you know, he's probably having relationships that are less than a year, and it's like a same sort of pattern. And I wouldn't be surprised if that ex that he follows is probably his longest relationship. That's probably the only relationship that's been long for him, and that's why he's still hooked on it. Because for him to say your adventure level is a 2 and I'm a 10, that tells me that he's chasing this sort of adrenaline feeling, this high that he believes that is there, and he's not actually in a relationship with the person across from him. I don't know if he's engaging in some sort of limerence, but it's just very much like even how he handled the breakup, very avoidant, very just snap, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore. And it's like, Josh, what's going on here? So yeah, and I think it makes sense when you look at them in the show. He love bombed her very early on, and I think you saw how the 8 weeks that love bombing started to trot out, and it probably continued after that. So it's wild, very wild.
Though I agree mostly with what you said, Precious, I could kind of understand. But I blame the experts. First of all, let me start there. I blame the experts. The experts, when she had an issue and her gut was telling her he did not get rid of the contact with the ex, he lied about it too. Her gut was telling her run. And the experts were like, no, 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 no. This is just one time. Don't put too much emphasis on it. This can still work. Jalen, that was your exit strategy. You should have known run. Don't listen to the experts at the time. Now here we are after all cameras are gone. We've moved in together. We are elsewhere. And he is doing the same thing, lying about the assistant, lying about, the age of the assistant, lying about other things. Then you're doing all the things for him. I haven't heard yet what he did. Did he rewrite those vows yet? I doubt it. What has he done? What has he done? And then he's blaming her. I'm not happy, so I'm buying myself gifts. You make me so unhappy, I'm buying myself gifts. Okay, I understand impulse shopping. We ladies, we understand retail therapy, but he's buying a whole pickup truck. Ain't chump change. He buying himself a whole motorcycle. That ain't chump change. So, sir, again, you're blaming this on her and how you feeling around her. But where I can understand is where he says her reaction to someone coming. But Josh, someone coming by, she saw them, they were coming, they saw her, they swerved to the left, and she went and popped off on him, tick, tick, boom, in public. What any of us wouldn't want, okay? Now, I could understand that being like, okay, I can't deal with this. I can't deal with this attitude. But again, Josh got to understand, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, this is the pot of soup that you made with your lies, your deception, and all of this stuff. This is what you made. And so her tick, 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 is popping off on you. This is based on everything you have fed her. And what you fed her is a whole bunch of deception and lies. And that's probably, I'm wondering now when she kept saying at Burning Man, we spent a lot of time by ourselves. Did Josh tell his friends not to come around? Did Josh tell his friends? Because he went there for what? Community. This is his community. But all of a sudden, your wife is there, fully involved, yet y'all are alone most of the time. Yeah, where was the community that you went there for her to be a part of? So again, I thinking he was lying, and another layer of it, unless she was ticking, and he said, "Everybody clear the area. Don't come around because I don't want you here for when it go boom." But I could understand in some of the parts Jalen stuff, but I could understand him feeling poked a bit by Jalen. But again, it is overshadowed by his lies and deception most of the time. Most of the time, I was like, yeah, Jalen, I understand. But in the end of it, the reaction, he reacted to it. And it's kind of like, sometimes I'm like, he just was waiting for her to pop off so he could bounce. And yeah, but I would have bounced too if you're ticking. But again, he has to be aware. And what is up with all the men wearing like a shade of green? What the heck was production doing? It's like the whole chair of men was a shade of green. And I'm sorry, Josh looked like the king leprechaun at the time.
I will say though, Josh ended the relationship before that point. That's why she was on edge. So him then being surprised that she's on edge after you told her that you want to end the relationship when you were on holiday, and then you're being surprised because she sees you with a girl, you're acting weird when the girl comes round. Of course she's gonna ask that question. So that's why, again, even that point, I don't even nah, because Josh ain't getting no bail from me. I'm so sorry, because the way he's behaving, crazy, absolutely crazy. Because to be fair, this is exactly why I said she shouldn't go to Burning Man, because through that whole, you know why? Because I know Kojo wants to feel proud. I see you, boo boo. But the reality situation is, he did not do nothing for that girl in that whole 8 weeks. Not one thing. But she was
Well,
doing
well,
everything.
well, well, he did the spin class.
Okay, in 8 weeks. Let's be real. Come on now. Come on. Come on. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he was making this whole big deal about Burning Man. He went to a 145-minute spin class. That man? No, 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 no. This one, these are the kind of men you need to keep your eye out for. That one there. That one there. Because he doesn't want to he's afraid of the confrontation, so he lies. He's doing his little sneaky thing in the back. Then he's blaming all his impulse buying on you. My darling, Josh is giving me a lot of neurodivergent vibes. So for him to then turn around and say, I'm impulse buying because of I'm unhappy with you is wild. Take accountability for you. Take accountability for you. Because you bought her a whole how many carat ring on the honeymoon. You were happy then. That wasn't that was an impulse buy. So what are we talking about? The gaslighting, the levels of gaslighting this man is doing is off the charts.
So that means he was unhappy then too, Precious. If he impulse buys large things,
That's what I'm
when he's
saying.
happy.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what that whole excuse is BS. The gaslighting is on level 10. It's wild. And Jaylin, she dodged the bullet. She should just go and find herself another man, be happy, and keep it pushing because it's crazy.
The next man is going to catch the strays, because remember, it's not just Josh, it's previous relationships. She's had this baggage. So, now it's not only that she's been picking men with this kind of issue. Now experts are now putting me with a man with the same type of issue. So Jalen is at a point where it ain't just me have a bad picker. Precious, what about him and the girl that was draped over him in the video?
That's new. That's it. It's the newness of it. That man, he looked. Do you know how he looked like? He looked exactly how he looked like with Jalen. It is the newness of the new girl that he is excited about. That's it. That's it. That's all.
But he goes to the same festivals year after year. So what is it with the difference with the newness of a woman versus the same festival?
Because the festival, different people go every year. So you meet new people. You might go every year, but new people come. So I can imagine that when he's been single, he's been having a good time at Burning Man. So
You're saying he
that's
wasn't
why
staying by
that's why
himself the way he and Jalen were.
yeah, because he
More
knew
than
for a
likely.
fact that he can't do that. He couldn't do what he was doing last year at Burning Man this year because his wife's there.
Because he was in, you see, I think I put the emphasis on the wrong part of the word. It's community.
I am not involved. What I would say though is definitely some gaslighting in there. Like I said, I think it's dastardly for him not to know why she would have felt some type of way at the event. I think with Josh, I think he's sabotaged. I think he's afraid to really love someone effectively because it would mean opening his heart and really having to be vulnerable and let his guard down and having them actually disappoint him potentially or even have the ability to hurt him. I think he ducked and dived. I think he really did spend his time making sure that he would be a rather than somebody who would, uh, finish the vows that he started. I think we saw some. I think, like I said, I think we see a flash of red flags. I think the vows was a flat red flag. I think the ex-girlfriend was a red flag. I think the lying was a red flag. And now Burning Man's red flag. So it's like everything's now become a red flag for him, simply because of the way that he's moved and we've seen him post. I think also the way he handled the reunion told me he hasn't grown. The way he handled the reunion tells me he has not grown, has not done the work. He's a liability. I'm sorry. I think he's got a lot of work to do to grow up, mature emotionally, so he can begin to express himself fully and express this to his partner, right? Or ex-partner. I think obviously when we watched the reunion, what we saw with him was a lot of deflection and him a lot beating around the bush to answer questions. Also, at certain times, we know that he couldn't take accountability for his actions and what he played in it. He put it on her. And I'm like, bro, like you putting it on her only highlights how bad you really were. You're unable to really be able to tell the truth about what really happened or what you really went through. Josh is nice, scary. Absolutely. He's that kind of person. And I felt for Jalen. I really did. I mean, I felt like she got done dirty here because she tried. She tried to make it work. She tried to put her best foot forward. She tried to have conversation. She tried to communicate with him and did all those things. And he presented as cool, but then after a while, like we start to see the real him. You know what I mean? So, I'm disappointed actually. I'm disappointed that he didn't come to the reunion with a better mindset and a more mature mindset and one that's grown and done some work. I felt like he just came here with the same mindset he came into the show with. And that tells me that it feels like there's no growth. And that's been a couple of months later on that reunion, and you still ain't showing any kind of growth. I was like, yeah, bro, right now you're showing me you're not a serious candidate. And you're showing me that you've not reviewed the tape in all honesty and thought to yourself, well, there's things I can do better. And it's like almost as if you're blaming her for the fact that this relationship came to an end. Nah, it's you. For me, it was nasty work. I can't lie to you. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I wasn't a big fan of Josh on this reunion. I'm disappointed in him, to be honest. And not just because I think Jalen's a pretty girl or anything like that, but
tonight.
It's just the way he just didn't take accountability. Didn't take accountability. Now, obviously, as he said that, he did hang Chad out to dry though. He said, "Chad, you did not text me in that way, bro." And I said, "Chad, what the frick did you have a conversation with Josh about then?" So what conversation did you have? And then Chad was like, "Well, maybe we had a conversation beforehand, and I kind of interpreted that into what you said." And I said, "Sir, Chado, what did you interpret? Because old boy told us no, and the texts are saying no. So what is it that you seen? How did you guys? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay."
I'm sorry, but we've already seen that he has a history of lying. So I'm so sorry, but I'm going with Chad on this one. Because Chad don't come across to me as a guy who lies. Chad comes across to me as a man who says what he says and he sticks by it. So I'm so sorry, but you're not gonna have me here. And this is coming from me. I would never be the one to be defending Chad, but I'm sorry, but not with Josh. Not with a man who lies for no reason. No, we're not doing that today.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Put some respect on Chad's name, okay? Put some respect on Chad's name.
Yeah, we've seen Josh's history. So put up against Chad, yeah. I'm not going to be on Josh's side. He lied about the age of his assistant. He lied about the ex. He lied about a whole bunch of stuff. Who's to say he ain't lying about Chad, and Chad just ain't going to pull his britches. So again, I ain't going to dive off the bridge to say Josh all of a sudden telling the truth. Good evening, Easton.
How we doing? Everybody good? Everybody good?
Hey, what did you cook today, Easton?
I did the sweet potato pie.
Okay, awesome.
So,
Did you save some for us?
Yes, I did. It's like 3/4 of the pie is still available, so I'll be sure to ship it. Yeah, fax it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
For sure. Who we talking about?
We just started. We're just talking about Josh and Jalen. So You can give us your perspective on them.
That boy be lying, man. That boy Josh be lying. He again. Well, I haven't been on all season. I just been watching. I've been reading all the comments. I've been watching everybody give really great opinions, and so I did that intentionally. I also scoured the Facebook groups and the Reddit groups, and so with Josh, I felt like he was the prototypical guy that came across really good early on, but as you started to peel back his layers, you could see that the first episode really set the table for him. So him just meeting his dad, also with his mom not being in the picture, and him basically being no contact with his mom. I think that like I would have wished we would have saw maybe Jalen asked a little bit more pertinent questions around that, or even dig into that a little bit more. I know this is sensitive stuff, but you start to see it kind of drift back in to his life. And I think that he is a serial dater. He is somebody who dates sporadically, and like Precious and Elsie were saying, he dates in that honeymoon phase, and then once he fizzles out of that and it gets a little bit more serious, then he moves on. He's somebody who also I think is neurodivergent, or at least on the spectrum. I think that the episode where we show him writing the vows cleared that up, or made that very apparent. But again, I don't want to diagnose anybody, but I've seen people, I've engaged with people who have maybe have some learning disabilities, and sometimes the pressure of being on TV, somebody recording you, and then them not even being aware. Like, I don't think that Jalen was aware, and she was just thinking that it was going to be a very easy, simple task for him to write out his vows. I think that also plays a role into it. But he's somebody who's a serial dater, and I think that it resolves around his mother wounds. I think that he doesn't like to sit in like really tumultuous things for very long, and he likes to keep things light and funny and airy, and that's why he likes to go to Burning Man all the time. Not saying that people who go to festivals all the time aren't serious people or anything like that, but it's a certain crowd, and it's also the community. And the fact that he walked in, even when the lady kind of pulled his card and asked if they had done anything intimate, I think that it's true that they probably did do something intimate, but I think that he's like, that's his thing. He goes to Burning Man, he might have like a little fling, and then it just fizzles out, and then he can go to his normal life. He has the means to do whatever he wants to do because he's doing well for himself, and so he just lives like this, and he's going to continue to do so until he either has a child or he gets tired of it. But he's got a lot of unpacking to do. He was lying, and his mask fell at the most opportune time.
Love it. Okay. All right. Love it. That's my boy Easton coming through.
Can we ask Easton the last question? Easton, do you believe Chad or Josh as far as the whole communication?
Chad, because Josh probably agreed with him because he acts like a bro, because he understands, like, oh yeah, bro. He's like, Chad ain't lying. Chad is just abrasive and it has PTSD. But Josh probably agreed with him and was like, yeah, I can't believe the schedule. They can keep changing mine and Jalen's. And yeah, and then Jalen probably charged Josh up and he's like, yeah, did Chad ask you? He's like, no, I don't even know anything about it, baby. Josh is a liar. That dude is a liar. I felt bad for Chad because he was getting his buttons pressed all season, and the time where he needed somebody to support him, especially one of the boys, because he seems like a very supportive person, although he is very troubled. He didn't have anybody to support him on that, because even Belinda, she turned her back on him because she's like, well, I like the show and I like the opportunities that it's presenting, but Chad wasn't lying. Josh is a liar.
It's a fair point, so I can't be mad at it. The three of you agree that, Josh is lying.
Josh a liar.
I'm happy to concede my position and agree with you as well. Yeah, no problems at all here. Josh, if you're watching this, you're a damn liar. Okay, yeah, just saying. I ain't getting that interview no more. All right, cool. Let's move on to the next situation, because again, there was another couple that needed to discuss their situation, and it was Belinda and Chad. Okay, all right. So now There is heartbreak in two households, but one household. You know what I mean? But if the daughter and the mother but a heartbreak, is crazy stuff, bro. Crazy stuff. But the mother obviously is dating now as well, so it's all good.
Catch me up on what's going on. It seemed like you guys had a great emotional connection in the beginning. It seemed that way. It seemed like it was really good.
We were together on our wedding night, so showering. So, I mean, you can only get.
I want to know what you guys' thoughts are on Chad and Belinda. What happened? What happened? Do you believe happened between these two of Chad and Belinda? Who's the one that caused the issue? Who do you think?
Belinda wasn't attracted to that man from the get-go. She didn't like that man from the get-go, and was trying to find ways to like move her way out of the relationship slowly but surely. Chad gave her ample reasons. Don't get me wrong, Chad, 1,000,010 reasons. Alcohol, I won't even say alcoholic, but drinks a little too much, PTSD, short-tempered, gave her plenty of reasons. But Belinda for sure didn't like that man. She wasn't attracted to the man. I think in my mind, Belinda still sees herself as the cheerleader that attracted Jalen and her brother's dad, and she don't see where she at right now. And she's like, I could see myself with no Chad. But she did like the fact that Chad could do certain things for her, and she also got sent to the streets. Like, the unfortunate part of the divorce is she had to go back and get in the workforce. She didn't have a lot of like the resources that she had prior to being out there, and she did like that part about Chad, but she couldn't get over the looks, and that was the crux. And then from there, it was everything else. She was finding little things along the way. But Chad, I'm not here to say Chad was a catch or anything like that, because brother, you on your third, fourth marriage. But Belinda didn't like that man from the get-go, and so like he was going above and beyond in love bombing, and she was just like, ew. That's how I felt the whole time, the whole season.
Go for it, Precious.
I've been saying it from day dot that Belinda don't like that man. I've been saying it, and I feel vindicated because she did not like that man even a little bit. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. Free Chad. Okay? Free Chad. Number one, she didn't really want to be on the show, because if you remember in that first episode when she was brought onto the show, she was brought onto the show because she called up and was like, oh, Jalen's going on, oh, I want to go on too. And Dr. Kyle was like, okay. Number one, that's number one. Okay. So she wasn't even going on this to be serious. Number two, she didn't like that man. I know Chad is not perfect, and I know he has his issues. However, his issues are things that with time he could work on, because you could see he was conceding, and someone like Chad isn't a man that's used to conceding, but he liked her enough that he was conceding bit by bit. The issue is that Belinda wasn't conceding nothing, and she wasn't meeting him where he was at. This man from the beginning said, "Man, I want that dog in my bed," and you continue to put the dog in the bed. Now, when he's annoyed with the dog because the dog is irritating his cat, now you want to have a problem. I'm sorry, but I'm with Chad. Don't bring the dog in my bed, especially a dog that's barking at me. And then you're saying that your dog is not aggressive. Yes, your dog is aggressive. Your dog's a big dog and it's getting on my nerves. Get the dog out of my house. What are we doing? So yeah, I just think Belinda wasn't trying to work with him at all, or try to soften some of those hard edges. And I think Chad, obviously, he's very regimented. The majority of his career has been in the military, and when you're in the military, you're very regimented. When you say you're going to be somewhere at this time, you have to be there at this time. Then to have, production changing your schedule. Now, yes, he signed up for the show, but he's still allowed to feel how he feels. He's still allowed to feel uncomfortable, annoyed, anxious. The way he expressed those emotions weren't the best way, but that's something that Chad has to work on. But Belinda showed no empathy, no care, no like, you know what, I get it. It sucks. I understand. I want to do this. I want to continue being on the show, but I get why you're frustrated. I understand. That alone would have helped Chad feel better. That alone would have helped him be like, you know what, I'm gonna do it for you. We'll get through it. It's only a few more days. But you're there, telling basically sitting in his face, telling him get over it. That's your problem. That's what you're doing in his face, and then you're expecting him to be okay with that. Like, what are we doing here? It doesn't make any sense. If the roles were reversed, Belinda would have been screaming bloody murder about how he's not supportive, he's not taking into consideration how she feels, how she's being affected by blah blah blah. But you're not doing nothing. There's no care. There's no empathy. There's no, you know what? I don't agree, but I see it. I understand, and I want to support you through this. How can I support you through? How can I help you to feel more comfortable with this production schedule? How can I support you to feel more regulated? You know? So yes, there's ownership on Chad to have sought out some of the things that he clearly is going through, some of the anxiety, some of those things. But also on the like as his wife, there is some input you need to have. You can't just be sitting there like a wallflower doing nothing. Why are you here then? Why are you here? So yeah, for me, I think they both, they both didn't do things the way it should have been done. But I think the onus on this relationship not working is, I put it more on Belinda, if I'm being honest with you. Yeah, it's a wild one.
From the get-go, Belinda didn't have his back, and we saw it by the end of it. We saw when everybody gathered after everything was done, say, hey, I really don't want to talk about this right now. I don't want to talk about this. And Belinda's like, oh, you don't want to talk about it? I'm going to let all your business out in front of everybody. No care for him. But here's the thing. Production, it's mighty suspicious you didn't show us the footage of that dog barking all day in the apartment. I find it quite suspicious because we have footage to see Will break up with Brittany. We see footage of a whole bunch of stuff, but we don't see footage of that dog barking all the time. The dog was also in Dr. Pia's face when she came to visit and was not, told to sit or do anything. Then we saw the clips. Then we saw the clips of the reunion of the dog gut punching Chad while he's laying in the bed. I wouldn't want to be in that bed either. I wouldn't. That is telling me I need to go somewhere. And then Belinda's like, oh, well, I wanted him to come into bed and I told him to come into bed. I wouldn't come into bed with that dog there. And the dog is gut punching Chad and he's trying to move the legs out of his face. And Belinda's just there. No. Sorry. The dog lacks discipline. And Belinda hasn't been disciplined, that dog. And I could be wrong because we don't see everything. I haven't seen Belinda tell that dog sit. And I am a dog owner, y'all. And yes, Mr. L Cid spoils the dog and he gives them treats and stuff. But you don't get a treat unless you perform a command. This ain't a free-for-all. Again, my dogs ain't in the bed either. So I don't understand. But Belinda, I don't know at what point, but I don't think she had a care for Chad. Not at all. And a care for her dog. Because guess what? I'm sorry. If your dog if Chad really was about, stuff, your dog gut punching him and all that kind of stuff, that was some hard hind kicks. He could have been really hurt. So you have no care about what the dog is doing. And I'm not going to harp on a dog. I'm more harping on the dog for the dog owner. We saw the dog's behavior based on production. The little bit that we saw, we were all concerned about Chad and all of this. So I don't think, I don't know if the dog is going to charge Chad to come for the cat. I don't think so. But even a curious dog, a playful dog coming at you, it can heighten, a situation. Okay, the cat doesn't know the dog doesn't know the cat. Both of them didn't perform the introductions very well. That dog should have been leashed. The dog should have been leashed while you're introducing it to another pet. Both dogs, the cat, again, I'm not saying I'm an expert, but introductions of animals has to be handled in a very delicate manner for both the owners and the animal. But Belinda didn't care about him. I didn't see her care. And at the end, when she's like, oh my God, da 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 da, the minute you talk about that dog, she is done with you. Because the dog is the center of her world right now. The dog can do no wrong in her the way she behaves. Because you all remember when she went to his house to talk and he said something about the dog, that's when it kind of cut off for her. Other than that, Chad does have issues that he needs to work on. But again, as Precious said, he was open. He was open to change. He was open to discussion. He was open to fix things. Would it have been fixed? We don't know. But he was at least showing us that he was open. And I could at least grant him that kind of grace. I don't know if anybody had his back. But Chad, if Belinda is correct, that you were falling to sleep with a glass in your hand, that is a concern. That is a major concern that you need to have taken care of. If you are
that was
sleeping out
shady.
there,
that was she was being very pet.
That was shady.
She was throwing out stuff at the end to justify her reason and why, because she didn't have a problem with him drinking and coming in a little bit drunk when he was dancing and everything was hunky-dory in the beginning. Because him drinking hasn't changed. He's been drinking like that from the get-go, and now that they're broken up, now it's an issue. I think she's just trying to have more reasons, as she's always kind of been ploying in her mind to justify why she pushed eject from the relationship. But Chad was, to me, it seemed like Chad was always open to changing and adapting. And
here's the thing. Chad forgot the playbook that they never gave him. He was supposed to be tick, tick, boom. And he didn't. So if you didn't do what I expected you to do, give me a tick, tick, boom moment. Now I got to throw out all the stuff I can't stand about you.
Yeah.
It was shady, man. I hated it. I hated when she brought that up, because I was like, what does that have to, that has nothing to do with nothing, because we didn't see that. We didn't see that. And also, this is not the time for you to bring like, she was bringing up his personal business, because you have to take into consideration, Chad didn't say anything about this woman. The whole time in that reunion, Chad kept it respectful. He took accountability for what he did wrong. He apologized. Yeah, granted, there was a little bit of friction at first. He was a bit standoffish. But eventually, he took accountability. He apologized. He said where he went wrong. He said nothing about this woman. Said nothing bad about this woman. Not one bad word. And then now you're here sitting there bringing up all of these things about this man's business. And I'm just like, poor Chad, you see him. He just looked like a shell of himself. I felt so bad for him. He's lost so much weight. He looks good. He looks healthier. I'm glad. But he just looked like a shell of himself. And you have Belinda sitting there, all happy dory, yeah, I'm dating. You see this man's face. He was hurt. This man is hurt. And I felt bad for him. Like, my heart actually felt bad for him. And you're sitting there then talking about, oh yeah, he drinks too much. Why are you bringing this man's business on TV like this? It's crazy. I just thought it was.
We did see evidence of the drink with his hands shaking whenever he held a plate. We did see some evidence of that. But yes, she was saying a lot about him. And you know what? Just like, Easton, I wasn't going into deep trenches like you were in the subreddits and stuff, but Belinda wants to be a influencer. Okay. She out here trying to put out a book. Okay. So when she's doing these things, I think she didn't get the sensationalism that she wanted out of the show, and not at the end. But yes, Chad's behavior, he was rude to production. He was rude to the folks. He apologized. He said he was rude. They spliced and diced it though. When he said, hey, if I'm going to say something, just shut up. They
Yeah.
spliced and diced that because they made it seem like he was telling Kevin that. And even though I kind of side-eye Kevin, I know he would not tolerate anybody. Kevin has popped off on people for less. So I know he was
Yeah, no,
not
he
going
said
to take that.
no.
But Chad,
No,
yes, he
no.
was rude. He was, telling, he was offended that these young people were telling him, a grown man, what to do. Yes, he had that thought in his head and he acted on it, but he came there apologizing.
No,
And
that's what I
considering
mean.
how nasty and mean and rude he was to the production, I think if he was sleeping with the glass in his hand, they would have shown it. They would have put Chad's business out there.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like, that's what I'm saying is that, like, Chad is not perfect, but like, you're bringing up stuff that we didn't see. We didn't see it for a reason. So all of this stuff that you're bringing, it's just shady and it's not necessary, right? You and the man are done. You're done. He's been respectful towards you. He's apologized. He's taken accountability. Let it be where it's going to be. You bringing up all these things that you didn't complain about on the show is wild shady. So for me, I just wasn't feeling that, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I hear you lot still. You get me? I hear you lot still. I mean, I'm looking at the Chad situation, and I think we said it from the very beginning that that there was some kind of attraction issue with Belinda and Chad. You know what I mean? We did kind of highlight that. Now, I knew there was something wrong when your girl says to you that she's graduated sex toys. Just know that your girl's graduated you. Okay, all right. She's graduated you. She hasn't graduated the sex toys. She graduated you. Okay, all right, and that she can't see herself experiment in that room. Look, the ladies can shake their head all as much as they want. Okay, all right.
No,
There's a man that will make it.
I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head because you didn't say that.
About which part?
You didn't say that. It was me that said that. You didn't say that.
About Chad and Belinda.
Yeah, you didn't see an issue with it, Kojo. Elsa, am I lying?
Run the videotape from a couple weeks back.
Did I say that she fancied him?
No, you didn't see an issue.
I said that she said I love you now, but I didn't say that she fancied. I didn't say that she fancied.
No. I'm saying you didn't see an issue with her shutting down the sex toys. It was me that said that's an issue.
Yeah, I didn't talk about it. I don't think I even talked about it. I probably was asleep.
No, you were there. You were there.
You're forgetting I had the live on. I didn't talk much.
No, you
I
were
barely
there.
was talking, guys.
You
I
there.
barely was talking. I set the live up for you guys to talk. I wasn't talking, B.
No, you were there. You heard me.
It would be inconclusive because I wasn't talking. And I don't know if I said anything on that sex toy thing. I don't think I even mentioned.
No, I'm saying is that like I said that like her saying no to the sex toy was wild business to me because you can't say you've gone through a phase to your husband on the sex toys, and that was basically her just shutting him down all the way, and I was like, free Chad.
That was very wild, to be honest. I can't lie to you on that part. But yeah, I don't think I really commented on it because I think the lives I kind of let everyone speak. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, look, I mean, if I didn't say anything, then fair enough. Or if I did say something, maybe I didn't change my mind. You know what I mean? I'm happy to always go back on myself. It's not a problem at all. But what I would say is obviously now, the part that I always thought about, the part that I always felt about Chad and Belinda, which I did a video on, was the very first argument that they actually had, or first disagreement they had, where they were in the bed. And I said that she did not actually listen to his actual needs. She only spoke about how she felt about him saying what he said to the production, but she had an opportunity to kind of open herself up and create a safe space for him, and she didn't do that. Instead, she made it about herself, and then he ended up apologizing and didn't actually say anything about what he was going through. So, I think it was there was always signs that this wasn't going to necessarily go together. I thought it was good though. I thought once he said she said I love you back, I thought this could potentially work. I can't lie to you. At that point, I thought hopefully this could work and this could be back in alignment, you know what I mean, with them, and they could try and see it would work. And then of course the next episode doesn't go that way, does it? So
Coach, he was fishing for that. He was fishing for that. I love you so hard. He was doing so much. It was the thirstiest I love you I've ever seen in my life. Like at all, Married at First Sight, Love Is Blind, any show, Chad and Belinda, like Chad fishing for this I love you back was the toughest watch I've ever seen. Literally.
I didn't feel it was that difficult. What was it? Yeah, we exaggerated a little bit here. It was less of a beg.
Kojo,
No,
He
you're
was
not
like,
doing that.
I love you, baby. And
It
he would
wasn't
like
that much
look
of a
and pop.
beg.
Kojo, we had this chat. I said he was dragging that love you, and it wasn't even I love you, it was love you. That's all it was. It was love you, and he pulled that out of that woman like blood from stone.
He was trying. He was doing
It wasn't that
everything.
deep.
He was dancing with it, man. He was doing everything he could to try to get that back, that I love you back, or I love you back. And it was just, I said, yeah, she don't like you, brother. But yeah, but
fair enough. Oh no, listen, hey, look. I'm definitely hearing you. You know, definitely hearing you. Y'all got some good points, and I ain't stop sleeping on these lives. Okay, cool. So let's get to the next couple on this particular one as well. Shout out to Belinda, who reminds me of the fairy godmother in Shrek. The fairy godmother, the woman.
I can see that. I
Not
can see that. I can
Shrek,
see that.
the woman who plays her, who's an amazing actress, by the way.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. That's
Yeah,
a good
she
one.
looks like the woman who
Yeah.
plays it. Okay, cool. Let's then get to another couple then, who also had their issues. I want to go to Pat and Ronda first because you know what, we can get to freaking
Super Bowl later. We can get to the Super Bowl later.
You know what I mean? We'll get to that in a second or two. Okay, let's talk about Pat and Ronda.
Surrender.
It's like you could have given him a little more grace.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our last couple.
Oh, damn.
Yes.
Love you, Patrick. And did I slip up? Oh yeah, I did. But was I making the effort? I really was. I just
Okay. Pat and Ronda, the situation came to an end, came to a close, this too. And you know, I felt like this woman, there's no pleasing her. I know what she needs, but I also think it's very tough too, because I think she's very independent and it's very tough to meet her standards. Now, we saw how all season long, really and truly, I think where Pat will have to do some work is boundaries. At some point, you got to stand up to that woman and tell her, listen, shut the frick up. You're driving me nuts. Yeah, because she was honestly driving him to the wall. Okay. And she was looking for him to actually to put boundaries in. And because he was not doing that, and he was kind of like being a bit passive about that, she kept on taking more and more inches until, you know, he could take no more. So I wish he would have done more of that. I wish he would have pushed more to make sure that those boundaries were in place. But I do also feel like Ronda on a normal day-to-day, baby, I need her to calm down. I need her to stop, you know, taking inches. I need her to stop pushing the agenda. I need her to stop, you know, berating him, insulting him, you know, calling him out whenever she feels like I can't lie to you. Her son told us and warned us from the beginning. You just want to have your way. You know what I'm saying to you? Now, if you two giggling about inches is crazy work. Crazy work. Y'all need to grow up. Okay? Y'all need to grow up.
No, I don't. No, I don't. You talking about Shrek and you telling me to grow up? Oh, heck no. Oh, heck no.
I wasn't saying it to laugh. I was saying it because she did look like the way. Y'all are tripping. What's your thoughts to Pat and Ronda? What do we think about Pat and Ronda?
Pat's fault, brother. It's your fault. I can't. Ronda is insufferable, but as I say, she's a small microcosm of the population, and Pat's issue is that he got caught in the cookie jar. He's the type of guy who who's probably gone on droughts without having any sex or being intimate, to where now that he had access per se, he stuck in a bad situation a lot longer than he should have. He knew better. He knew better from the get-go. Ronda was insufferable from every breath Ronda took is insufferability. And there was nothing that you could tell me otherwise. Pat knows better. The problem was that Pat was finally getting some cookies, and so he just stuck in there. And then what happened? As soon as it was off the table, oh, now he wanna put on his big boy drawers and put on his work boots and put his foot down and have some boundaries. I know Pat's fault is that he stayed there way too long. And that was my problem. He got dragged around doing it, and he knows better because, brother, you are 50-something, 60-something. Brother, you need to have a little bit more awareness. Rhonda's terrible. She's insufferable. But, Pat, I put a lion's share of responsibility on you.
Easton, we're going to have to, disagree on this one because Pat did tell her what his expectations were, even at the wedding and other times. Just like Chad told Belinda his expectations with the daggone dog. He did say what his expectations are. And Rhonda did as well. But again, Rhonda, it seemed like, wasn't open to what he wanted as much. Because he told us, he said it, hey, this is why my first marriage didn't work. This is why, this is what I would like to have in this marriage. And he was shut down. It was the Rhonda show. The minute she was like, I don't want to hear you talk. Stop talking about yourself. I don't want to hear it. So how is he supposed to let her know his boundaries or all that other stuff? She don't want to hear it. Meanwhile, I'm thirsty because I want to know about Pat. The little bit, the kernels that we get about Pat, I'm like, okay, you saw the space landing? Okay, you saw this, you saw that. Oh, you were a colonel in the Air Force. This is what pissed me off. He was a colonel in the Air Force. This man, he is an aerospace engineer, yet she's treating him like he hasn't finished preschool. I mean, come on. And yes, I understand, y'all. This is the nice guy, okay? I ain't saying nice or good or whatever. This is the guy that, hey, he's there. I'm here. I'm present. I'm going to do what you need me to do in this relationship. And as someone said in the chat, he was dragged along. And it's like, I was like, when he pulled up in that shopping center and say, listen, I feel like you're scolding me. I feel like, this is what you're doing all the time. This is how you're making me feel. It had to pull her out of her grief moment into soothing her person moment. But again, I would love to know, because she said he went away to Europe for a month, and she said she traveled enough for the year. I would like to know if those travels, did Pat go with her? And is it a case of like Jalen and Josh? He's doing all the things that she wants to do, all the trips that she wants to go on, and then here's the time for a Pat trip, and she's not going. I mean, that's what it sounded like, because even Pat wanted to include her with buying tickets for her, to include her with the festival or what he was taking his mother to. She felt offended. He's trying to include her in his life. I think she wanted him to join her life, but we didn't hear a lot of Rhonda wanting to open herself up to his life. It's giving me a Jalen Josh situation in the reverse. But again, I will have to disagree with you. Yes, when he can interject, when it became too much for him, he would say it. And as he said in front of the experts, I don't know if and when I can say this, because I don't want her to get defensive. And then I don't want her to, act up towards me and closed off. And then we're back to square one. Easton, you're muted.
He had a body of work to see what kind of person he was dealing with by the time it came to decision day. My issue is he had an ample opportunity to cut this relationship off, but he chose not to. That is my issue with Chad, is that in the times where he does have the leverage or the power, he never takes it. And to me, it seems like he was very that the only deciding factor between him breaking up then and at decision day was that Rhonda took sex off the table. So that leads me to me where it feels like his North Star was that he had access to sex. And it was like, oh, once that's off the table, then I'm about to put on my big boy boots and then let's nip this thing in the bud, because I ain't getting none.
But he said it. He said it. But Easton, he said that. He said about being adventurous. his first marriage was not adventurous in that area, and he needed that. He said that.
So that means you willing to put up with all kinds of disrespect just because you getting some cootie cat.
Again, if that's what he needs to, swim in the waters in order for him to be baptized and don't have a care in the world, but you see, that's the thing. That's what he wanted. He stated clearly, this is what he wants in his relationship. And he doesn't want to give of himself so much that he is lost and he is not himself anymore. He said it. Now, if you do not want to grant him access, I think this is the time you would need to have a conversation with him and say, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I really don't want to do this right now. I think he would understand rather than you not talking. I mean, come on. If he said this is what he wants and then he comes home, you haven't seen him in 30 days, and now it's another 10. Jesus had the 40 days and 40 nights. What am I under penance for? I am back. Are you not happy to have your spouse back? Because if I haven't seen you in 30 days, I am jumping your bones for 10 days straight. I'm sorry.
I feel like okay, I get it. We'll go on to Precious after this. I'm just saying that I think that there's opportunities for him to have some leverage in the relationship to gain some respect for Rhonda. I don't think he should have been with Rhonda. As soon as she would have talked to me like I was a little kid, I would have been like, ma'am, do you not look at my accomplishments? Like I'm talking to you as an adult, like we are peers, we're in a relationship, and you're talking to me like a little kid. I would have nipped it in the bud right then and there. But he kept going, and my feeling is that he kept going because sex was in the draw. Because of the relationship.
Tell him this is not about you right now. This is me and my emotions.
At some point in time, you got to know. But I digress. I'm just saying. I just think that he's put a lot of the meat and potatoes of the relationship into them having sex, and then as soon as it wasn't on the table, then he went out. No, he should have left like months ago.
Remember Easton? I'm sorry, Precious. Remember Easton? This is a woman that she said in her previous marriage with her 3 or 4 kids, she moved in a week before they were married. That created a whole pressure kettle. How do you move your 4 kids in with a man they have not lived together and expect it to be just smooth sailing? I mean, anyway, I have questions.
So I think Kojo, remember where you're at, Kojo.
Oh no, I did it towards you. Don't worry.
Remember, I'm saying, remember where you're at. Okay. All right. We'll be having words later. No, ooh. The reason I'm saying
inches.
Okay, moving on. The reason I think with Rhonda saying, right, that him changing his decision at decision day turned her off is diabolical. So you're telling me you were with this man for all this time and you've been turned off. That's why you stopped having relations with him. And then he turns on and goes, you're not having relations with me. I can't do this. And now you're feeling some type of way. If you knew that you were turned off, why did you stay? It's diabolical. Rhonda this whole season has been getting on my absolute last nerve. Okay, last nerve. And the one thing I will agree with Easton on is if Pat had been more boundaried and more secure in what he wanted and realized I'm not getting it, I don't have to be here, he wouldn't have gotten this far down the road with Rhonda. Because much like what you were saying, Elle said, Pat's interesting. He's an interesting guy. He's lived a whole life. And we got none of that because Rhonda just wanted to steamroll this man. And I won't lie to you, when Pat pulled over that car and put her in her place, I was like, go on, Pat. Go get yourself your woman after this. After this, go and find yourself your woman because we ain't doing this no more. We're not doing this. Because what's going on here? Rhonda was a nightmare. Rhonda was a nightmare because at first the production made it look like, say, Pat was somebody who just couldn't read the room, and it wasn't the case. Pat wasn't that kind of person, and I think the entire time he got railroaded. He got railroaded by the experts. He got railroaded by his own friend. That Adrian guy, he needs to have words with that Adrian guy. That's number one, number two, and number three. Pat he got railroaded this entire season, and he will find his girl. He will live happily, looking after his mum, being a good man. Rhonda, she needs to go to therapy. She was looking for a therapist. She wasn't looking for a husband. And that's what I've been saying this entire season, and it's rung true. It's rung true. So yeah, I don't know. Free Pat. Well, he's free now, so
Rhonda needs a companion. She don't need I don't think she sees somebody. I don't think that people are unfixable, but she's somebody that is maybe so far gone and so far on the deep end that I don't even think that it's worth it. I think that she should just have like she should have a cult in the mountains. That's the type of person that Rhonda is. She should have a cult in the mountains, and she should have her people and a bunch of cats in her own house, and nobody can do anything to the house, can't make no changes, and that's it. And she has a companion, because some people are just too far gone, and that's Rhonda.
Not in the mountains, Easton. In the elevation, is not much oxygen to the brain in the elevations.
That's right up her alley. That's right up her alley. She read tarot cards. She could be in the mountains. She could sell that whole thing up, have a little cult, a little group.
Well, her son warned us. Okay, her son did warn us, so we kind of got the heads up. We were hopeful, but her son did warn us. I wonder if Pat heard the same thing. And I think, I know you're saying yes, Pat should have his boundaries or whatever. And for me, it's the newness of it all. This is a new person you're trying to navigate. So to kind of like come in saying this is what I will and won't do in a, in the check you manner, I don't think anyone would proceed like that, considering this is a person you don't know. It is a love interest. You are, married to them, and you're going to see if there's a future with them. Yes, you can say your boundaries, but I guess it's a matter of tone. Now, here's someone who does have a more gentle tone. Are we just not going to listen because of the tone? He is stating what he would like and what he won't like. He was, handled very well. That Rhonda said, I don't even remember your name. I mean, is it the fact that he's seems like a more even keel personality? And again, you can't be flipping the lid, or else Houston, we have a problem. I mean, come on now. He seems like a more even keel person.
I hear it, but I still blame Pat. I still blame Pat for the fact that if he had better boundaries, either she got two choices: fix up or leave. So I think he gave her just a little bit too much room. And look, it's his lesson for the next relationship: fix up, get boundaries. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, you've only got so much inches before I got to let you go. You know what I'm saying to you? Because you're stretching it. And so when that happens, you got to let someone know. When someone does that, you got to let them know that, listen, time's up. You know what I'm saying to you? And you see how, listen, for a brief second, he became sexy to Rhonda. That car pullover, the pull up the skirt, handbrake. Oh, it's automatic, you guys. So it's not really handbrake, but you know what I mean? But he pull up, put that thing into park and say, listen up here. Chewbacca. No joke, but no, for real, but he let her know it's not going down like that no more. I've had enough of your lip. I'm trying my best. I need to get into shape. Do you see how she softened? For a little brief second, she softened. Yeah, now she's still a little bit hard, but she softened a little bit. He needed more moments like that. And he said, oh, from here on out, this ain't gonna run no more. But it kind of did. You know what I'm saying to you? So once he said it, it's got to be like, next time she says it, I'll put my foot down. This ain't going around no more, Rhonda. Okay? I done told you in the car, and I'm telling you again in the house. Don't let me say it again. You know what I'm saying?
And then y'all will be saying he verbally abusive.
No,
No,
because
I
no.
would have
because the
been. I
way
would have
he
been.
did it,
I would have been
no,
capable
no,
for him. I was like,
no,
see,
no. The way he did it in the car was really good because he did it in an even killed way. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't shout. He was calm the entire time. That's how you had to do it. And the reason that I'm saying that he didn't hold his boundaries is because even though he mentioned it half-heartedly. He mentioned it in response to her bringing her things. If he had continued doing what he did at that pullover with the car, she would have nipped it in the bud a lot sooner. Maybe not all the way, but it would have reduced. Because the thing about holding boundaries is that you have to be consistent and constant in your holding of said boundaries. It can't just be you do it once and then you keep letting it slide afterwards, even though you're saying it. No, it has to be, no, I would like for you to remember what I said before. I do not enjoy this. You need to give me some time and we need to have a conversation. I can't process you giving me all this information while I'm driving. I can't process you giving me all this information while I'm doing X thing. Let's work out a better way of doing this. And if he kept steadfast on his boundaries, Rhonda would have had no choice but to assimilate and acquiesce. So that's why I think, and I think that's what he's learned. You could tell in the reunion that he's learned that he needs to do that more and he needs to be a bit more, um, like you said, he was a colonel in the Air Force. He needs to be like that. What you saw, him parking over on the side, that was Colonel Pat right there. That was him that was Air Force Pat. We need more Air Force Pat. That's what we need. We need more Air Force Pat, and he'll be fine.
Man, that sounds all nice, but that girl Rhonda was putting that witch cookies on him, and he was over here acting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's the way it was. I'm telling you, Pat didn't want to disrupt.
Nah, because he would have been there longer. He would have been there longer.
He got
He would have.
he got drugged across the.
Because
It
he was
was
on
pitiful.
TV.
It
Because
was
he was
pitiful.
on TV.
This was pitiful.
Because he was on TV.
He walked all up and down, and I'm telling you, I saw the look in Pat's eye. The only reason why he was still there is because, I'm getting
No.
some at night.
No, the reason he was still there was because he was married to the woman he was on TV. I bet you any money if this was Pat and Rhonda in real life, Pat would have ghosted Rhonda.
No, he said in the first relationship he wasn't getting his needs met. So that means that sex is kind of at the top 3, really the first
Yeah.
thing on his list.
But
so
then he left.
he
But
ain't
then
been
he
in.
left and he was single for a while. He was getting it in and he got used to getting it in. Now he's with a girl. He was with a woman.
Pat ain't giving me. Oh, I was out here in the wilderness running
You don't
through
know.
like Tomb Raider.
You don't know. You don't know.
He don't married at first sight. I know that, and I know that he was willing to take a whole lot of
And
because he was getting some sex.
Easton, when was his previous relationship to the show? 6 months. Easton, do not
put some respect.
6 months. He was giving it a try. He was waiting it out. He said, "I'm gonna play the nice guy role for 6 months. Hopefully, she gonna give me some, and then if not, I'm gonna go ahead on Mavs." That's what he did.
You need to put some respect on Pat's name, okay? Because you're out here trying to act. Pat, I'm telling you this now. He's a sniper. I'm telling you. I know a sniper when I see a sniper. Pat is a sniper. Don't even. I'm telling you this for free. I know a sniper when I see one.
We do this every year. We said the same thing about Alan last year, and
No. I said Alan had potential to be a good match for somebody. I'm telling you this now. Pat is a sniper. Do not get it twisted. Okay? I promise you, Easton. I promise you. Elsid, am I lying?
You ain't lied. You ain't lied. Pat is a sniper. But you know what, Easton? Easton, you are not in his crosshair, so that's okay if you don't see it.
It's cool. I'm saying if he was as deadly as what he says he is, what y'all say he is, he wouldn't have been drugged around by Rhonda. That's all I'm saying. But hey, I digress.
He's aware. He's on camera. He's married. He's trying to settle down. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Pat is not one to be with, scaring the ladies away. He ain't. Come on now. He's calculated it down to the micromillimeters. He knows.
let's go on to the next relationship.
Well, Pat, if you're listening to this, good luck, bro. We support you. Okay. And Rhonda, I ain't trying to get no interviews. You suck. Now, jokes. I think, you just need to change the way you behave. You know what I mean? I'm only playing. I was only playing. I just need you to calm it down. Take your time, babe. Okay. All right. That man is not your punching bag. All right. Whatever man stressing you out in the past, Pat isn't the one that you need to be stressing out, babe. Slow it down. You were doing so well at one point. You reconsidered. You started having some self-awareness when Dr. Pia highlighted you. I thought you were on to a winner, and then you revert back into your old ways. You just, that part where you just got to make that choice of going to grow or regressing. You just went back into regression. And Pat, yeah, I know they say they can put you with a woman out here, but I'm sorry, Pat. The universe does very strange things. I'm gonna need you to get some boundaries now. Okay, all right. Yeah. All that chat about they can find the right kind of woman, he'll be okay. We always say that. Okay, get some better boundaries because it will show up later on. Okay, all right. If you need to pull up and skirt on a girl, put up and skirt on her. Then let them know. Put them boundaries up on her. Maybe your hands will be in handcuffs later on. You know what I mean? Arrest her a little bit now, be arrested later on. That's what I'm going to say to you, Pat. Okay? All right? You're looking at me like that, though, Sid. But the ladies be loving it when you can say to them, hey, babe, listen, you're going too far. You know what I mean? Rhonda might have at least put him in some handcuffs. You know what I'm saying? But my boy wasn't doing his job. All right, cool. Let's get on to the next one. I'm wondering, do we do stalker? Do we do well, let's do you broke up with me this way. Okay.
I wasn't happy. I don't think Megan was happy. I think whether we said yes or no at decision day, I think the eventual outcome would be the same.
How? One of us respected the other, but it's not mutual.
Oh, that lip is telling me what I need to know, baby girl. But if you weren't on national television, you'd have told him a new one. That boy was scared as heck. I'm glad he got out there. I just want to say I support men. I support them when they're in their difficult, dangerous times. This is one of those moments. Okay, that brother needs to be freed before he end up in jail. Okay, all right. So shout out to Derek, wherever you are. Hope you're enjoying your new relationship. Make sure you enjoy. Okay, do not go back to Megan. Okay, do not go back to Megan. Don't even sniff around that lady. Okay, don't even look at her. In fact, her mom and dad, let it go. Don't message them, call them, nothing. Clean cut off. You saw Oprah? She said people are alienating parents and stuff. I need to do the exact same thing here. Okay, all right, fantastic. What's our thoughts on Megan and Derek? How do we see them? What's our thoughts? Because obviously it came to an end, a crashing end, and she felt like he did her dirty with the way he ended things. What did you guys and ladies think about it? Oh, Sid, you wanna break us in?
Oh, I didn't know who you wanted to go first.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
I can appreciate what was said earlier. Derek made the great escape. I had questions about, did he, pack up and leave while she was at work intentionally so he could avoid her? There were some questions there. But I think what colored it for me with Derek, and I kind of like turned away from him quite a bit, was at the end when he was saying my new girl is looking forward to being a parent. Knowing we just talked about, or you're in front of the woman that you just, unfortunately y'all lost a child together. Again, to me, it was highly insensitive. So when I was sympathetic to his cause until he did that. And I was like, you could go upriver with Josh. You could go upriver in the same canoe with Josh. But again, I could understand he wanted to make his great escape. Loss of any kind and the grieving process, causes people to behave in a different manner. And I don't know if they went through grief counseling. And that is certainly a time that you need to go through grief counseling. Definitely need to go through. Any parents or expecting parents, that is a time that you go through grief counseling for real. But for him to say that in front of her, You know, and many people are saying whether or not it was, you know, real or if they were joking or not. You know, for me, I'll take it as at face value. Um, I'll take it at face value, but Derek should have or could have said no. But I guess he was the one, remember, that says, hey, we will be a yes on decision day. And Megan said, hey, I don't need to be married to you to help raise this child. You know, I had more. Megan's issues were glaring. We could see Megan's challenges, they were glaring. And then I was like, what is going on in the background? Especially at the anniversary at the winery. Y'all realize Megan did like a 180. And all of a sudden she wants to sit on his lap all cuddly and all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, what's going on in the background? What is Derek saying to her that has pacified her to this level? What has gone on? Is he pacifying her, or is this a power play or a power move? They confused me at that time. But in the early stages, we knew she expected him to take care of the dog. Again, another dog. She expected him to pick up the slack at home. Again, you know, they were making good strides in babysitting those 3 young men. You know, they were really trying to make something of it. But then it's like, all of a sudden you break up over text, pack up and leave, and you're gone. Okay, I can understand that, but that the comment at the reunion, I'm sorry. Yes, I have some sympathy for him and you know what he has gone through, but it irked the heck out of me, and I'm trying not to go off on him for saying that because it was highly insensitive.
I agree with El Cid. I wish Derek had a really good escape route if he would have just coasted and not said anything about his current partner being excited about being a mom. Although it was not even being shrouded, it was a dig at Megan and her I guess disposition, because she didn't seem like she was very excited, and I'm pretty sure they probably had a lot of discussions about that behind closed doors. I think that Megan and Derek throughout the whole season, as I was watching it, basically filled 2 important roles that they wanted for their partner. They really should never have been on the show. Derek really just thinks that whoever he's involved with, he wants to be a family man. He thinks that being a family man or having a kid is going to force him or transition him into being this man that he wants to be. And he's somebody who needs these like life events, and that's probably why he's traveling and doing all this stuff. He needs these life events to kind of push him into growing and doing this stuff, and it's not just like automatic. He needs these things, and so in his mind, becoming a father is the next iteration. Not being a great boyfriend or a great husband, it's becoming a father will propel him into this next level into his life now. And so he doesn't care about who is on the other side of that or the receiving end of his chromosomes. He's just like, pick Megan, she's it, because he should have kicked Megan to the curb a long time ago. If we're going to keep it a buck, Megan was on the same kind of time as Rhonda, but it is what it is. And Megan, she like it in this case with Derek, since they were pregnant and since he was trying to work towards a relationship and ultimately wanted to be a father, he was willing to make a lot of concessions, enough to where it fulfilled what Megan wanted, which was just somebody who was like an errand boy. She just wanted somebody who could fulfill these different chores and roles and different things like that. And that's why the relationship worked. And so that's why whenever they were pregnant, she was sitting on his lap, everything was hunky-dory because they were going to play their roles. They were going to acquiesce to each other, and that was going to be it for the rest of the days. But then once the unfortunate miscarriage happened, then the cards came tumbling down. Derek should have went and left a long time ago, but he just wanted to be a father. And so that's what it is. And so I put a good point of blame on him. But at the reunion, he was being extremely petty. And he was good until he had that remark, especially since his now current partner is pregnant. but like I said, he wants to have he thinks that being a father is going to propel him into this new life and this new role, and it's not going to be that. He's probably going to be the type of person who's going to be unhappy and miserable and checking out in the marriage. And I hope not, but I'm just saying I think that he's jumping out of order. Like he's putting the duty of being a father, and I think that that's an important duty, and he's letting that supersede him being a great husband, a great boyfriend, a great husband, and all those things that lead up to that. And that's going to that's going to ensure that people aren't happy in the relationship, and they're just doing it for their own selfish motives. So a lot of blame on Derek, but Megan is insufferable. But so it is what it is.
Did you say that his new girlfriend is pregnant?
I thought she's excited. Yeah, I thought she was pregnant. That's why he said that she's excited about being a mom. I thought that maybe I misheard.
No, I think he said that she's excited to be a mom.
Okay.
So I think maybe like it was still a dig, but like as in like she wants to have kids. Maybe they've talked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if she is pregnant, that's even more of a disrespectful thing to say. But yeah, my thing is Megan and Derek should have said no from decision day, because they were already having so many issues. Derek I don't think Derek really liked her like that, and Megan didn't really like him like that. I think they just got used to having sex and being around each other, and they just kept it pushing. Very much like what you were saying, Easton, they got used to being in certain roles, and Derek acquiesced a lot during some of the fights and things they were having. And I think he kind of checked out quite early, but he decided to stay in there because, he wanted to have this thing work out. But I also feel like Derek pretty much was, from what I viewed, I think if Megan hadn't have gotten pregnant, I think Derek would have just said no on decision day. I think he would have just been like, it's just not working. And very sort of self-sacrificing, but for no real reason, and not very emotionally connected to Megan, really. And Megan forced that man to say I love you, because Megan said I love you, and then I'm pretty sure she gave him the cold shoulder until he finally said it back. So the whole thing was just not working, and it's unfortunate what happened with Megan's baby. It's a horrible thing to have to lose a baby. I think the silver lining is now these two people who clearly weren't working no longer now have to be connected. But yeah, it's his comment on the reunion. For me, that was just like, yeah, any grace that you would have gotten is out the window. At the end of the day, Megan said it. You don't have to say yes just because I'm pregnant. She said it. And I know at the time we were all thinking, oh, but actually, really, truly, Megan had her head screwed on. She said, look, you don't actually have to be here if you don't want to be here. Like, I'm not. But also, I guess there's a lot of social things that are around that probably made him feel less inclined to say no. Kind of what Elsa mentioned in the last episode about being concerned about if we don't work out, what's going to happen with custody, what's going to happen with me being able to see my kids, all those things. But I just think, I just think the way he broke up with her wasn't very tactful. At the end of the day, breakups are hard. Why make it harder? But if that's how you want to do it, that's how you want to do it. It is what it is. But then to come back on the show and just act very cold, very nonchalant to somebody who was pregnant with your child at one point, and then to say what you said to a woman who was pregnant with your child at one point is wild to me. But then again, I think it just shows that someone like Derek, when he's emotionally disconnected, it's that's it, it's shut down. And to be fair, the reality is 95% of men are like that. Once they're emotionally disconnected from you, you might as well be on fire on the side of the street, pretty much, because it's shut down. So it's part of the breakup. It's not nice. It's not a nice thing to experience being on the end of that, but it's part of the breakup process, and I think they've dodged the bullet. It's just unfortunate that it had to happen this way.
I also think that that's why I kind of put a lot more blame on Derek, because I felt like this is his time, or he took this as a time to get his lick back on Megan. Because granted, we know how Megan treated him all season, and we knew that it wasn't going to work, and she was a pretty mean customer. But I didn't think that this was the time for him to, or I think that everything up until him saying about his now partner being excited about being a mom was good. I don't mind. I didn't mind him doing the little digs about, having how he had to do it or how he had to say it or anything like that. It was just once he took it past that line, I think that it was unneeded. And that's what made me a little bit anti-Derek. But I think that he just had been compressing all of the disrespect in Megan, just compressing it constantly, and then he just took it out on the reunion. And I don't think he should have gone that far. But they weren't going to work out. They were just going to have the kid. They were going to try to make it work. They were going to be miserable, and it was what it's going to be.
Yeah, listen, man. I think there's always a better way. Of course, Derek could have done it, but sometimes you got to eject quick. That was his problem the first time around. That's why they got a baby in the first place. Couldn't eject quick. So now we're in a situation where we need to get out of the situation so we don't have further issues. Sometimes you got to just leave the situation as quickly as possible. Now, maybe him saying about his missus wanting a kid could be a little bit distasteful because they've obviously lost a kid, but I also understand his perspective. He lost it too, but at the end of the day, I've got to move on. I've got a new girlfriend now. It's been a while, and I'm looking forward to being a father or mother. And at that point, I get it, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's moved on. He's moved on because, that situation with old girl, it was like having a noose around his neck. He probably feels like a breath of fresh air. And, sometimes sometimes also you got to say those things so that you can nail it in the coffin for them. Because Megan gives me the same energy that Brittany gives. She's going to try and think there is a little light at the end of the tunnel. Nah, chick, the door is closed. Okay?
They're best friends.
That's true. So if you think you're going to open that door again, let me shut it completely in your face. My missus, she's looking to have children. Okay. All right. So someone said the women suffer after a miscarriage, not the man. I beg to differ. We do not suffer biologically in terms of our body, but we do mentally suffer, especially if we wanted the child and we're looking forward to being a father. We suffer in that way, But I get what you mean in the sense of like we don't suffer the biological effects, which I won't disagree. We don't necessarily have the same physiological responses because we didn't carry the ute. So I'm never gonna diminish the effects that a woman actually has in that space, and we're not going to compare either. We're more just going to talk about the distinctions that we do. Also, if you really wanted that kid, you suffer because two ways you suffer because you can't do nothing about your missus having a miscarriage. There's actually nothing you can do. You're powerless. That's number one. And number two, you have your own emotions you feel about the situation too. So it's a different type of feeling in that respect as well, and I'm sure women have their own as well aspects too in their ways of dealing with that as well. But yeah, but I also take what the ladies are saying in terms of obviously a better way of him discussing it, letting her down. Sorry, but might have been better for him as well. I think there's always better ways you can do it. So I won't disagree in that aspect as well. Okay, well, let's get to the bonanza because there was a couple that. See, when you don't put hard and fast boundaries, they turn up at your door. My God, was she looking fine though? God damn, Brittany. You see why I'm telling you that? See why sometimes I'm not shooting anybody, but I don't know how y'all date outside of black people. Okay, I don't know how they do it, but I can't do it. Okay, Because for me, black women will be the finest. So let's talk about a little bit about Will and Brittany. Let's. Do you see all that beauty? My God.
She paid some visits.
I'm sorry.
They said that you'd been there more than once.
Who was they? I
People in the leasing office.
never
Okay,
know.
see.
The only time that I was there was when I dropped off that letter.
Okay, perfect.
Maybe if they've seen me, it's because she lives there and I've been to her place a couple of times.
I mean, that's very plausible. It's very plausible that she went to that house to see her girl. I mean, it's plausible. Hey, if the girl lives in the same place, it's plausible. I'm saying, I never said it is. I said it's plausible. You know what I'm saying to you? I could see how that could.
Jalen's look on her face gave me everything that I needed to know. Now, Kojo, I love it. Brittany, I've seen Brittany in person, hug out. She is beautiful. But seeing her on the show, because when I saw her in person and hung out, I did not know that she was on the show. Interestingly enough, it was also with another Married at First castmate. But she's beautiful. Can't give that. But boy, where there's excess in beauty, there might be a lack in a lot of other areas, and there it was. But I'm just gonna I'll let Elsie go because I got so much stuff to say on this point.
Easton, is that why you didn't show up till at the end of the season?
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Okay.
I really didn't want to come across like one, too biased, and then two, because I also knew the end result. So I told Kojo, I said I already know that what the result was. And I showed him pictures, so I said,
Okay, I just want to make sure you got your hall pass. Okay. Okay. Kojo, you are staying within your usual. The beautiful ones. Prince always said it's the beautiful ones that got you all twisted up and going to show up at your door with a letter and multiple times to see if you live there. So see what happens with the beautiful ones? The lesson ain't learned. I know you still got lots to work on. I know. And even though you've heard all the foolishness, you're still caught up in the spider's web, but I digress. You know, when I did mine, I was very, very disappointed with Brittany. Very disappointed. The time I saw it, and even days later, and I have a disappointment there because it doesn't matter if you're Brittany or a Will. If someone isn't loving you the way you have said you wish to be loved, treated, and all that, please don't beg them. Please don't beg them to stay. He has his bags packed. He said, I don't want to do this anymore. Please don't beg them. Don't block the door. Don't beg them, and definitely don't beg them to say they still love you. Please don't. Let that man walk clean out and let him go. And then after the fact, you're writing a letter. Now, y'all didn't watch Love is Blind Brazil with the seniors, but there was a similar situation where a bride used everybody's phone number to try and reach the man, and he had to block like 50 numbers to keep her from reaching him because she was, cyber stalking him. So yes, she said she went over there. But you see, Kojo, when you played that clip, did you notice the story changed? No. The only time I went there was to drop off that letter. Oh, but if they did see me, I probably was going over to see Jalen. The story changed in the midst of 2 minutes. And I was like, yeah, no. I don't quite trust the story. But I'm going to let you have it. That's what you said. But, we ain't going to roll the bean footage. But as Easton said, Jalen's face was like, girl, you don't come to my house. I don't even know you come by. It said a lot. But for me, while I was heated, there's a lot of Britneys out here. That's my thing. There are a lot of Britneys out here. Girls that are seeking love and attention from a gentleman. And they are feasting on the crumbs given. And I want more for my sisters. I definitely want more for them. I want them to understand who they are, their worth, and how they are deserving of a much better love. But again, Will, you should have stayed 10 toes down on that no when you called her. You sent her into a spiral. So I'm side-eyeing Will just a tad. Will, I don't see you as saying something you don't mean. But to go back on that word, I gotta look at you. And then to have her come on that couch begging him still, and then he walked off to process and come back after he had, shed a thug tear on the couch. Will, you should have kept on moving. Will, you should have kept on moving. This was not for you. You were extending yourself, you said, to try and be seen and heard and loved the way you wanted to be loved, and you were not showing up for her as she wanted. Again, why are we saying yes on decision day? Why are the experts pushing a yes after he then told them, I called and told Brittany I'm a no? To me, it's like Brittany's emotions were not being protected even in that moment by the experts. It was not. And I didn't hear them say, well, Will, how do you feel about this? Again, I saw a failing in there with the experts for me at that moment. Those two should have just called it quits and went away. But Brittany and the Britneys out there, young ladies, if you have told him once and you have told him a second time and it's baseball the third time and he has not made a change in order to adjust to love you, and you probably be in jailing and going to all the festivals and everything and doing for him and with him, you need to stop and go find yourself, somebody else, or just find yourself. Now, I don't know if we're talking about that interview, Kojo. We mentioned in that interview?
Yes, we need to, because it's pertinent information.
The pertinent information from that interview, because if y'all don't know, Brittany had an interview with AD. We learned what the flip out was. And that if I had known that from the beginning, and I wish I'd known that from the beginning, I would have clocked it with Brittany early on. And at production, I wish you had left that in there and let us know exactly what it was. What it was, for those who did not see the interview, basically, how can I say delicately, his baby batter was, she accepted his baby batter. And after the fact, flipped out at what they did. Okay?
You mean he ejaculated inside of her?
Yes. And after she agreed to it,
man out.
she agreed to it. Okay, they agreed. They are grown. They are married, is what married people do. But after the fact, it's like buyer's remorse. Oh my gosh, I actually allowed you to do that. So yes, I understand Will taking it off the table after that and being sideways, like, I don't know if I can go here again with you. But yes, I learned a heck of a lot in that interview. And I also learned that she may need more sessions with that therapist or another. Because I don't hear growth. I hear what Will did. I have not heard how my sister has grown. I haven't heard it at all. But maybe when you break it down, Kojo, I can hear it better.
To be honest, she looked like she still had a little bit of hope when she was talking about how they talked for a couple of hours at the bar and stuff. I said, baby girl, are you in Delulu land? Like, it looked like you still think that there's a little bit of hope for you and Will. How she talked about how she was attracted to him and all this other stuff. Look, my issue with Will is I give him a lion's share of the blame, mostly because he over intellectualizes most of his persona is him over intellectualizing things, and that it oftentimes puts him or makes him believe that he's the superior in all this stuff. It only went more into that direction because he was recruited and learning more about that because from Brittany. So he comes in to this show with a lot of leverage in his mind. He's like, well, I'm the smartest man in the room, I think. Plus, they recruited me. I ain't even put my name in the hat. They want me on here. Then you got somebody who is immensely insecure, like Brittany. So it just bigged his head up. So I put a lion's share of the blame because he knew probably once they got back from the honeymoon from Panama that he wasn't feeling Brittany. I think that he gave it an honest shot, and the constant need for reassurance, the insecurities, the flipping out gave him the male ick. I've been there before. It's there. It don't matter how good she look, how it's looking, how it's going on. Once I feel that you're supremely insecure and it's a constant thing, oh, I got the male ick 10 times out of 10. That being said, he should have cut it off, but I'm sure there's production and wanting to make it to the end. And he even betrayed himself at decision day, which again, is your fault, bro. If you know you got somebody who is volatile, you got to take any opportunity to cut that off. The same way Derek did. Send you a text, cut it off. But no, what did he do? He went back. He questioned his thoughts. He's a very logical person, and he continued to go through that relationship. And now he's wondering why Brittany is crashing out even more, because you continue to drag this thing along when you should have just made a clean cut way sooner. So I put a lion's share of the responsibility on Will. I think we're all in Austin. Will ain't having no hard time getting no girls here in Austin. He's a transplant. He's traveling. He's doing his thing. I'm telling you, he ain't having no issues getting girls. That being said, Brittany and listening to that AD interview showed me that whatever therapist she's going to is selling her wolf tickets. That therapist is just keeping her there because she knows that I can use this insurance all year round. And then in December 31st, I can re-up on new sessions and we can just keep this thing going. I have a consistent revenue stream with Brittany. That is what's going on here, because how she looked or how she was talking to AD, and AD just seemed like so judgmental in that interview. But we know that's AD's personality in these interviews, especially with the sisterhood. She gonna come across like she came unscathed in her season. But either way, the thing that was really apparent was she isn't very aware of what she needs to work on and how she needs to show up and heal some of those insecurities. And two, she still loved that man. Whatever he did to her, she still locked in on him. She was telling everybody how she was attracted to him, how they talked for about 8-some hours, 5 hours afterwards. And, they maybe could be friends again. And then Megan chimed in about how she was happy and talking to her about how they could all be friends. All I'm saying is that girl is delusional. She's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But I think that she may have over-indexed her healing and she put too much of that into the revenge body and not the revenge mind. And that's my issue with Brittany. And I hope that she can get that healing, because she has a lot to offer. And I know as for somebody who hasn't had a long-term relationship, for it only being 3 months, I'm optimistic that she could get there, but she's got a lot of healing to do. And I hope that none of the people who see Brittany's transformation, because I think that's what always happens. It's like, oh, girl, like a reunion. Oh, you see that body? She done lost weight. We didn't see it with everybody who had maybe a little swirly edit or something like that. I just hope that people don't do that, because you over-indexing the wrong thing, and you need to be working on that revenge mind rather than the revenge body.
Yeah, I don't know, Brittany. This is why it's important to have some shame. This is why it's important to have a little bit of shame in you, because no way, no how, no way will you ever break up with me and then me write you a letter. That's wild. We can't. No.
And why not?
4-page letter.
Because I have shame. Me here. See me. I have shame. Thank you. Can never be me. What? And then deliver it to your house. Hand deliver.
She's going that way anyway.
She didn't even send it through a carrier pigeon. She walked that to his door.
No, I'm sorry. The Nigerian in me I literally felt my entire body just go, woo, just woo. It's too much.
She met the Austin assassin. You're gonna have to pipe down on that, Precious, because we saw by the Danish stuff with your Nigerian sister. So you're gonna have to pipe down on
Yeah,
that.
that one too. But see, you see what America does to my Nigerian sister? That's why I'm in the UK. Because in the UK, they can that would never run in the UK. In the UK, that would never run. Are you mad? Me write a 4-page letter and then go to your house and put it through your. Nah, stop. Have some shame. Have some decorum. Have some shame. What are we doing? Stop it.
And like the guy on Love Is Blind Brazil, he didn't read the letter either. But then you go have drinks with him after the reunion. Okay.
Like, no, that's what I'm saying. The embarrassment. This man sat up on the reunion and said, I didn't even read the letter. The embarrassment that I would have.
And Kojo says embarrassed.
What? No, really? No, guys, are we deep in this? No. We need to deep this because I have been trying to deep this whole week. How? How did you get to this point, Brittany? Everybody is saying, Brittany's beautiful, and she is. She's a beautiful girl. But you see how pretty privilege won't get you everything, because there is no way that you were up here going to this man's house. You texted him insults. You insulted him through text. Then you wrote 4 pages. You sent it. You hand delivered it to his house, and then kept going there. Even so much so that the security guards, they recognized you and they snitched on you. Are we really deep in what's happening here?
Well, we don't know if it was 4 pages. I just joked about it because the Leah song. But I'm assuming.
Regardless, Easton, even 1 page, it's embarrassment. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Brittany, I need you to wake up, my girl. Please. No, today, wake up. Because there's no way. There is absolutely no way. And then he had the effrontery. He had the audacity to say, I didn't even open the blood clot letter. I didn't even read it. Are you not embarrassed? No, but seriously. What? Anyways. Will, he checked out early. It was clear. He was not into it. This whole time between Will and Brittany, I still to this day don't know what Will needs in a relationship because he never said it. Brittany asked this man constantly, what do you need? What would make you happy? How do you feel loved? All of this stuff. He said nothing. He didn't want to answer no questions. And then when she asks him, okay, well, what do you think love is? And he tells her, and she dismisses it. He gets upset. Now I don't blame him, but again, what do you expect after in the beginning she was hounding me for answers? All right, Kojo. Okay, Kojo is asleep and has unmuted himself.
Sorry.
That boy needs some coffee.
Embarrassed.
That's what was going on. That was what was going on in Brittany's brain. That was what was going on in Brittany's brain the whole season.
I'm so sorry. Hey.
Kojo.
What's up?
How could you? How very could you? Anyways.
Whoa. Continue. Sorry, my bad.
But I'm just saying, right? To this day, I don't really understand what Will needs in a relationship. I don't understand how he works. I don't understand I just don't, because he never said anything. So him getting upset when she dismissed him, I was like, I get why you're upset, but also you caused this because you were so dismissive about everything in the beginning that now whatever answer you give her, she ain't gonna take it. But Brittany, she felt, I think they just triggered each other. It's just the very basic of it. They triggered each other, and they would have needed to do a lot of concession, a lot of growth, a lot of developing to be able to make it work. And it could have worked, but they would have to have done a lot of work. But yeah, the way that Brittany handled that, and then we come to find out that there was a picture of Brittany and Will and Pat. They were all hanging out, and then Pat at the bottom comments, because they were like, "Oh, Will and Brittany are together," and Pat's like, "Yeah, they're working on a friendship." My girl, what friendship are you working on? This man didn't even read your blood clot letter, and now you want to be friends with him. I beg you, my girl, come out of the sunken place, go back to the F45 or CrossFit thing that you're doing, go and find yourself a man there, because all this that you're doing now, you're going to embarrass yourself, because when the situation that ship starts, because
He
he's
gonna
going to
circle
see you
back.
as easy prey. He's going to see you as easy prey. And when the situation ship starts and you get upset, I'm begging you, Brittany, I don't know if you're listening. I don't know if you know about this channel. I hope you do. I hope you come on here for an interview, but I hope you hear this video, you hear my words. Get yourself out of the sunken place. Leave that man alone. Leave him alone. Move on, please.
He gonna circle back. That man gonna circle back, and Brittany gonna be a wounded deer, one that's already got shot in the leg and just limping, and he gonna and Will gonna be like, "Oh, that's what's gonna happen. We know it. We see it right.
It's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen when I listened to that AD interview. I said, "Oh, she's setting herself up. She putting down all the fixings. Oh yeah, we talked at the bar for like 3-4 hours, and it just felt just like old days. Like with that spark, that connection was just right back together. Yeah." And then seeing them the picture, I said, "Yeah, you gonna be easy prey," and that's unfortunate, but I just want better for Brittany, because she I don't want to see nothing bad for my sisters, but Will is in that place where he knows I ain't saying that he's all that in a bag of chips. I'm just saying that he's somebody who knows his head has got inflated more than all the people call him Lego headed, or saying that he had a Lego shaped head on the Reddit boards and stuff like that. Because people were saying that was mean. I said, y'all can't just call him out his name because y'all don't like how he is not pressed about Brittany. But that being said, because he didn't need to be on the show and he got recruited, and then he got somebody who's already insecure like Brittany gassing him up, pleading for him on her knees, writing a 40-page letter. He at the top of the top. He feel like he great. He over here traveling, working in tech, good money. Yeah, he feeling himself right now. And that revenge body, he said, this is the 12-point deer I wanted last season. Let me go ahead and let it circle back. I'm gonna get it right now. That's what's gonna happen.
And that's unfortunate, because future men, if they see this, they gonna know how they can play it. They gonna know how they can play it. And that's unfortunate, because as you said in the interview, I don't see where she will recognize this. And the fact that her best buddy at the interview and then yelling out while she's on an interview, yelling out questions, Megan is there. I said, Megan, you have no respect. This young lady is on an interview. You should not be yelling out while you are a guest sitting on a chair off camera. You should not be yelling out, "Oh, talk about this. Did you mention this?" Da 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 da. No respect. No respect. So then I'm wondering, in her relationships, not just with a romantic relationship with Will, what are your friendships like? What are your friendships like? Are there boundaries there in those friendships? Because daggone it, AD even had to say, "Well, Megan, do you want to come sit? Do you want to pull up a chair and talk too?" Because you're talking all the way over there on the other side of the room. But yeah, I want better for her. I want better for her. But again, I can see her. Somebody said I can see a guy like Clay painting in her face. Yes, I can see her falling for, a player. Unfortunately, but I wish for her what she wishes for herself, to get on Jeopardy, to have a wonderful time and a successful spin on Jeopardy. Go for it, and leave those dudes to the side. Okay? Because I'm telling you that when we learned about what happened to honeymoon, I would not be surprised if Will said that was it for him. And he was just coasting. That's why he really didn't care much about anything. Or it didn't appear to be. Again, that I was like, if it was flipped, I mean, if a man had flipped out, we would have, been having the same conversation. Your partner is not going to appreciate you or even want to be with you if this is your reaction to intimacy. Mutually agreed upon intimacy. And as the gentleman would attest to, if this happens, this is how, this is why some men are very cautious with women, because, this could have a, y'all were talking about bracelets before. This could, have a man put in the slammer.
To be fair, like, we had to roll with our own imagination for these weeks while the show was going on. So also, this doesn't necessarily do anything particularly good for Will's image. Luckily, we did have what AD's sister asked. Was it AD's sister who asked the question?
Yes.
And
what do you mean it doesn't do well for his image? He's the one that took it off the table.
No, I'm saying beforehand. Like, we were like, well, what really did happen?
Right.
Like, we're our minds are running. I'm saying until we got more clarity from AD's sister, we had to just constantly we had no confirmation. But luckily, we did get that, and so we're like, this actually doesn't make a little bit of sense. Like, if you did act like this,
but that's what I assumed happened. What she said on that interview.
I assumed that the condominiums broke, and I'm like, stressed that, something happened outside of my control. Yeah. I didn't think that I accepted it, and then I didn't want it no more.
Yeah, that we were consenting, and then you're gonna be like, oh.
No. So the reason for me, that's what I thought happened, was because the way that he just went from 0 to 100 on the sex, well, from 100 to 0, indicated to me that she blew up on something. It wouldn't have just been, oh, the condom slipped, or it. No, it had to have been a slip. Something.
I mean, granted, either way, Precious, but I think it amplified it with the fact that it's buyer's remorse.
Yeah, but that's what I thought it was. That's what I always thought it was.
I didn't think
so.
I
always thought, because my thing is that it was a one-sided decision, and it was very clear that she freaked out. And then when she was saying, "Oh, you didn't reassure me," and he's looking at her like,
well, that could also work with condominium break-in.
Yeah.
Yes, it can. But my thing is that you're less likely to have. Well, maybe I'm inferring, but you're less likely to have such a visceral reaction to that, because you at least try to have some form of protection, and so the likelihood is lowered. But if there was no at all, yeah, you're gonna blow up. Especially if you then think about it afterwards, like, hold on a sec. Whoa, what am I doing? This is a honeymoon, that kind of thing. So for me, I just assumed that was what happened, and that she regretted it, and then she blew up about it, and then he was like, okay, well, you know what, we're not even just going to do it at all. Because my thing is that if it was about just a condom, then you would have just been like, look, we'll just be more we'll just be more careful next time. But that, for you to say, okay, we ain't doing it at all, that indicated to me that, okay, it was deep. That's just how I took it anyway. So But I can definitely see. But I just took it that way because I was like, this is a very, very intense reaction to have about a condom slipping. So if in my head I was like, yeah, it's not adding up. Something, and for him to have such a visual, there was no like compromise. It was that or nothing. So I was like, okay.
But I understood his behavior afterwards. I
No, I'm not
understood.
disagreeing. I'm not
After
disagreeing with his behavior.
finding out what happened in the interview, that we
Mhm.
both consented to this, and then you
Yeah,
flipped
100%.
out on me. Now I
Yeah.
understand why he distanced himself. He's not going to run after her. He's not going to do. He's like, wait a minute. We sat as adults and agreed to this, and now you flipping on me, and I gotta calm you down, and I gotta do all
Yeah.
this extra. No.
No, I agree. But we said that. But we said that in the beginning, though, because remember, I was like, "Look, I understand if something like that has happened between you and your partner, especially as a man with a woman. I understand why you're gonna retreat all the way back and say, you know what, we're not gonna do this, especially because I don't know you. I met you a few days ago. I don't know you. It's not like we've been talking 2, 3, 4 months. I do not know you. We've done this physical thing. It's blown up in our face because something's happened. I'm not trying to get involved in this right now because there's too much, and there's always a risk because I don't know you. It's a tricky area. There's there's a lot of conversations about consent. All this, it's just it's a minefield. I'm not gonna go there. I'm gonna circle it back. So even from when we didn't know all the full details, I was not surprised that he had that kind of reaction. I was just more surprised that it was such a it was such a black and white reaction. It wasn't like a, oh, why don't we just take our time? Why don't we slow it down? Why don't we give it some time? We can try again another time. It was a, no, we ain't doing it at all.
Do
So
you
I was
see
like,
how
cool.
And
Brittany
then
acts?
she flipped and said, "Oh, you don't want me anymore."
Yeah,
Exactly.
I did. To me, she to me, Brittany, if something like that did happen, I just don't see how Brittany's response would make me even want to kind of consider it, especially since I don't have any skin in the game with you, as we're just now in the beginning, and then two, like we're both consenting adults on this. Like, what's going on here? Like, not only am I thinking about this from a child perspective, like this could also result in a child coming out of this. But is there going to be some type of allegations, or are you going to this could easily snowball into a far more severe and reputation damning allegation based off of how you may have flipped out? And I don't mind Will, probably his whole life flashed in front of his eyes in that moment. He's like, hey, let's just take this off the table.
No, I agree. I think it's but I think for me it's a very tricky place because the reality of the situation is after something has happened, she'd had a moment where she regretted the situation happening. Now it's tricky because we don't know what led up to that whole thing happening, right? Granted, yes, they've both agreed, but from what we can see of Brittany, her processing of making decisions isn't completely secure in how she's actually feeling, and she comes across as somebody who may engage in appeasing somebody or wanting to do something to have something done. And I think we also have to give grace to giving somebody the space to be able to change their mind after the fact, like, oh, actually, I'm not actually comfortable with this. Now, again, it depends on how, it also really just depends on how you go about that. And I think with Brittany, we can see her emotional regulation isn't all the way there. She isn't always able to say, hey, you know what? I know I agree to doing this, but I guess it kind of it's all hit me that actually we don't know each other very well, and there's a risk of pregnancy, and I want to continue being intimate with you, but maybe next time we should use a condom. See, communicating that would have meant that he doesn't feel like rejected or feel like it's a big
His freedom is in jeopardy.
No, but
yeah, it's become this
we're
whole thing.
misremembering. Not to cut you
No,
off, but we're misremembering this because originally she wanted to feel that he didn't regret doing that with her. That was how it first started. It wasn't that she regretted it. It was that she wanted to be reassured that
yeah,
that he.
but that was after she had her blow up. So when they were talking in the bed for the cameras, that was after she'd already had her very visceral reaction that had put Will off, because Will had then said, "Hey, you know what? Let's just take it off the table completely." And that's when they were talking with each other in front of the camera. That conversation of taking it off the table completely had already been broached. And then she was like, "Well, I want you to kind of reassure me. I don't want you to regret it. I don't want you to regret it." That was where it was coming from. But that's what I'm saying, is that how she communicated how she felt was what, as you guys have rightly mentioned, was what made Will retreat. If she had said, "Hey, look, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not trying to," maybe there would have been a different reaction. But regardless, it was just a mess. It was a mess, and I think there's an element of one side. Yes, I do feel like Will didn't do a great job at reassuring her, but there's also another side of Brittany's emotional regulation is not very good. And I think she makes decisions based off emotions on the time. And I think that's why what happened at the end happened. Is because decisions were being made off emotions rather than really being able to check in with herself. Because she's somebody that clearly is very anxious. And I think her ability to check in with herself to say, "Hey, actually, is this what I really want? Is this a good idea?" is not quite there. And situations like this then happen. Um, so it's an unfortunate, it's just a really unfortunate situation. And I think from that point on, they were kind of DOA. They were dead on arrival, really and truly. So
Because I would tell you, y'all may dislike me for this, but I would have played it. I would have played the rest of the show like Will, but I would have stayed with the no. I would have stayed with the no.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done you at least again, you may not see it as a courtesy, but I would have done you the courtesy of letting you crash out at the apartment, and have your moment, and then you come to the table, to the couch, knowing I'm a no. I wouldn't have stayed and given you any kind of hope. But I would have played like Will. I ain't trying to feed you emotions. I'm not trying to feed you I love you. I'm not trying to feed you anything else, because that right there would have been completely done for me. But then that's me. That's me. And y'all, I know it's an unpopular opinion.
No, I agree. I would have done the same thing. And also there's nothing you could do for Will. Like, you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If he would have told her ahead of time that he didn't see anything, we would have talked about how he didn't see the process through. He just betrayed himself at the decision day. But good thing he took that trip, and then when he came back, he told her what the business was, because I didn't see anything good coming from that.
you know what? I disagree. I don't think he would have been damned if he did, damned if he don't. I think if Will had gone to decision day and said no, I think people would have understood. There's always the reality is, guys, there's always going to be people who are always going to defend Britney because they see themselves within Britney. There were always going to be people who were going to ride for her. Um, but I think on hindsight, especially after the reunion, I think a lot of people, especially on hindsight, would have been like, you know what, Will did the right thing by saying no. My only issue with Will saying no was how he said no. You calling her hours before decision day is wild. Just get to this to the sofa and say no. And I think also part of it was, I remember she mentioned saying that she was going into decision day feeling very much like it was going to be a yes, because Will had led her to believe that. Now we can argue and say that could have been Brittany thinking that Will was leading her, or Will could have been letting her believe that. So I think he should have just been more upfront and honest as it was coming closer to decision day. But I think he could have definitely gone. I think they had enough problems that if he had gone up on there and said no, nobody would have really been surprised. and he would have at least done the whole process. But regardless, they clearly do not work with each other. I think Brittany kind of, I think she kind of destroyed any grace she got from the show, from the reunion. I think the reunion kind of set that into light, and I think her interview, it seems, with AD set that more into light too. They both need to work on themselves, but yeah, Brittany, you gotta have some more shame. That's all I gotta say. Just have some more shame. Shame is a functional emotion, guys. Sometimes you need it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Easton's face. Why does Easton?
I'm just thinking, because I just thought about, I'm just thinking about, like, there's nothing Will could have done. Like,
in regards to,
like, if he would have cut this thing off earlier, the only thing I feel like I fault him for is that he just didn't say no and held on to his no. I hate that he didn't stand 10 toes down and say no. Brother, you caused yourself a lot more hurt, harm, and danger, because Brittany would, when you dealing with a stage 5 clinger, the only thing you can do is cut off all communication. Make the decision swift and strong. You can't give them any ounce of hope, because if you do, she gonna pull up. You see what Brittany did. Precious, have you watched that AD interview? Watch it. She lit up when Megan and them were talking. Elsie, I said, yeah, we got a stage 5 clinger. She sees hope that, oh, I done got my, because this is also another thing that a lot of people do, is that maybe there's some rejection, and so the revenge body is so they can get the person back, or so they can make them feel like they miss it. So now she, in her mind, is like, oh, he giving me a little bit of attention. He might try to talk to me. He ain't talked to me in a year and a half. But I done lost this 30 pounds. I done did all the stuff I needed to do. I done got him back, because she really does want him back. And they're water and oil. That just...
Because Easton, you noticed that when AD asked, are you going to do another dating reality show? She wasn't for that.
Yeah.
She wasn't for doing another, and AD had to be like, I found my man there. She said the challenge, right? It's like, that ain't no romance.
To be fair, I don't blame her. If I was Brittany, I wouldn't go on another TV show. Don't do that to yourself.
No, she wanted to. She wanted to, not dating.
Not a dating show. She wants Will. That's the thing that's in the line that's in the sand that nobody's gonna talk about. She really wants Will. She talked about how attractive. Again, if she thinks that if she fancies the guy, I ain't knocking it. All I'm saying is how she spoke so adamantly, and this is also before we see everything. So this is, I think, the third week, like episode 7, 8, and 9, or whatever it is on the show. That's when she was recording with AD. It just seemed like when she met up with Will, she got right back in sync. And I know Will is like most guys, and he gonna let that revenge body get him back in a whole nother set of mess that he don't want to. And
just test drive the revenge bot and keep it pushing.
I don't think her body's a revenge body, though.
Absolutely, it is. What you talking about?
No. Do you know why I say that? Was because you have to remember. I think before Brittany came on the show, I think she was probably like overweight, because she said she had been started going to the gym 6 days a week, even when she was on the show, and she clearly had lost quite a bit of weight, and I think she just carried it on. I think especially after, I think she also kept in mind that this was going to be shown on TV, and I think she just continued working out.
We see this every time with every show.
Every season.
No, I do. I agree. Come back. No, I agree, but I think the reason I disagree a little bit is because she'd already started the excessive working out before she'd met Will.
I'm speaking just from when I've seen her twice. I've seen her at the gym, and I've seen her at a social event, and it was just a couple of us. she looks and I'm not trying to. She looks small. She definitely looks smaller going on to the. And it was only a couple of months before they started. They filmed the reunion. She looks significantly less now than she did when I saw her, and I would say it was probably around 3-4 months before they filmed the reunion. I'm saying that whatever she knew that was gonna be her time to see her man Will, and she said, "Let me whip this thing into shape. Let's get this thing into shape, and we gonna make it rock." I look. I know the Revenge Bride play. It's a tale as old as
No,
time.
of course I do, but I guess it's just because I know that like even when she came on the show, she clearly had lost quite a lot of weight. So, you know, it wasn't a situation where like you could tell in her body that she'd lost a significant
Precious
amount of
is
weight
doing
before even coming on the
semantics,
show.
saying she been on this journey. She ain't just do it after the show.
No,
I
I'm not
understand.
saying I'm not saying that she didn't get an extra kick 3 months before. Hey, maybe she used a bit of Ozempic, we don't know. But I'm just saying that it's not like, say, she just decided today I'm just going to start going to the gym. She's already been going to the gym. But obviously, knowing that she was going to see Will maybe gave her an extra kick, an extra boost to make sure she looked how she wanted to look for him.
Understood. The thing is, why, you know, again, and it's a me issue. Again, I don't understand the whole spinning the block. I don't understand going back for more. When something is done, it's done. And the fact that he has, and as she said, he was so cold. He was so mean when he ended things. Why are you trying to get back there? And the only plausible thing I could say is you're trying to get back there so you can dump him. Okay, this time around. But again,
I
why are
think
we
she
going
likes.
back?
No, I think she likes him.
She
I
likes
think
that
she really
man.
loves.
And
Yeah, I think she
l-
just loves
let
him.
me ask you this, Easton. Why is Brittany behaving like Will is the highest hitter she can get? Because that's how she's acting.
Because maybe
To
he's the
be,
highest hitter she has gotten.
I think it's the combination that she hasn't
You don't
had
know. You don't know.
a relationship out of past 3 months. Plus, Austin isn't a lot. There isn't a lot of black guys in Austin, especially black guys that are like moving and grooving tech. Like, there's just not a lot of black guys in Austin in general. And I, just from my purview, I think that she deals with a common thing that I see a lot of my more chocolate, darker hued sisters when they deal with a light skinned brother is that they kind of pedestalize the light skinned dude a little bit more. In just my purview, not all across the board, but I'm just saying that I think
Sorry, go on.
that she pedestalized Will because he's smart, he's in tech, he's doing well for himself, he's probably making really good 6 figures. She like there's not a lot of black guys in Austin, and if there are, they're all kind of rolling the same circles and they're transplants. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, a lot of the black dudes here, they don't necessarily always date. They're we're kind of like a dime a dozen, and so you know, we're not
Well, as
always.
in dating black girls.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's transplants in Austin. Like if you're in Houston and Dallas, you know, you got black people galore, but in Austin, there's not that many black people. And it's also the tech hub in Texas. So everybody, you know, for the most part, you can confirm that people are making 6 figures. You can ask them where they live in town. They're making a pretty good they might live in a nice place, but everybody's transplants. So there's just not a lot of black folks.
So that's the thing. I'm a bit. I don't know what the word is, but okay. So Brittany loves wrestling, right? She's a big wrestling fan,
She's
and I
tomboy.
feel her. I feel her because her WWE. I love it. However, when I was looking at her Instagram and she posted a video of her like getting dressed up. I think it was the night she went to go meet Pat and Will. And in the corner, she has like a signed Randy Orton poster and like all of this stuff. So I was like, are we sure that Brittany likes black guys? Or is it just a wrestling thing? Because if she's in Austin and it's already like a scarcity. Are we sure she's dating black men? Are we sure she's not like, what's going on? Like, do you know what I mean?
I can see that. I can see it. I can see that she wants to date black guys, but I think that she also is like a lover girl. So she's not gonna turn down she's not gonna turn down an opportunity at love. That she is a glutton for punishment when it comes to love. And if it don't matter if it's white, black, Puerto Rican.
She said a hopeless romantic.
She's a hopeless romantic. I think that by the time she gets that 3-month mark, whoever it is, it could be the white, the Puerto Rican, the black person, it don't matter.
Anybody.
They've seen enough shades of Britney where they're like, can't win with this player on my team. And so they release that Pokemon into the wild. And that's what happens.
Yeah, I just hope that Britney's able to find a more secure attachment moving on. And I think that will help her find a relationship that she's looking for and find the love that she's looking for. She has a lot of potential. She seems to be a very kind person. And yeah, I wish her the best. I just want her to have a bit more in the tank of just being able to to appreciate herself more, to value herself more, to not do certain things that put her in positions where people can take advantage or look at her in a certain type of way. So here's hoping that she grows and she finds who she needs to be with.
Okay, Kojo. Yeah.
Yeah. Get you a new therapist, because whoever it is ain't working.
I'm gonna have to.
Kojo, you have some
sessions with me.
Well, Kojo, you have some openings for coaching.
No.
Now, Kojo gonna be like,
he's not doing that. Kojo's not doing that.
Kojo gonna turn.
I mean, I could, if she's willing to,
Kojo, no.
But I'm a bit backed up right now. Do you get me? So
Kojo gonna find a space. He's like, what?
But you know what? For Britney, I can make space.
Kojo, you're not supposed to have clients that you're attracted to.
I turn off the cameras. I don't know what they look like. I'll do the same for Britney too. Once you turn that camera off, ain't my bad chicken wing. I generally do. I turn off my camera. Like, I ask anybody who's coaching me. The camera doesn't come on.
You already know what she looks like, and you already like what you see.
I'm telling you. I
know, but once I can't see your face consistently, I'm not forming any kind of connection. I'm not even looking at you. I don't even look at the camera.
That boy Kojo, I'm telling y'all.
Kojo is number one. Just will give you any hot air balloon of lies that you need to hear to keep things.
Listen. There's some
he said she was already gonna believe it.
But once the camera's off, I don't even give a heck. I can't see you, bro. I only care about the fact that you need to get yourself healed.
So you're telling me that listening to her sultry voice will do nothing? Okay, I believe you. Okay.
When did her voice become sultry?
Yeah, I was gonna say
it wasn't sultry, but
again, it will become sultry. Come on now, Kojo. Do not behave like that.
She should be more worried about herself. That's how transference happens. You know what I'm saying to you? Don't worry about me.
Yeah, but there's counter transference too.
I'm not here to be counted anything.
No, as a therapist, you need.
I don't think about you after I finish.
And you need to think about counter transference.
You got 45 minutes, and after 45 minutes, I do not think about you or your baggage.
See,
your business.
You're not being a reflective counselor.
I don't care. I'm not reflecting on that. You're going to get 45 minutes, and that's it. I'm done. After that, I'm not thinking about you again.
As he says, he's not a counselor. He's a coach.
That's right.
You can be reflective.
I can only think about you when I'm on the pitch. I can only think about you when I'm on the pitch. Once I'm off,
he's done. He's a dismissive, avoidant coach. That's what he is.
Absolutely. And you know what? For the benefit, it's necessary. In this business, it's a blessing to be dismissive. I'm telling you this now. I don't take no work with me home, boy. It gets out the door, and I'm like, clock off. Time to clock off, and I don't think about you. Trust me.
Yeah, and I don't think Kojo, with what he knows now, will probably mix that, because Britney gave me the vibe that she would go look crazy and maybe.
No, he likes crazy. He likes crazy.
No, hey. Just because I talk about how much I like it on the internet, don't mean I like it in real life now.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
if I heard something, I'm like, oh, he done
I'm a
got
changed
messed up.
man.
Okay. All
I'm a
right.
changed man.
All
I'm a
right.
changed man. So
I believe you.
I know you know the old me. I know you know the Egypt me, but I'm a changed man now. I like security. I like safety. You know what I'm saying to you? Okay.
I'm glad. I'm really happy to hear that. I'm
And just to
really.
say, Brittany, I love it, but can we get rid of those nails? They're awful. I hate them with an absolute passion. I
With the
hate them.
passion.
You can't
With
With
the
say
a
you love
I
it.
passion.
hate them.
You can't say you love it and then you hate
I
them.
hate those kind of nails.
This is
I
why.
can't. I don't know what is up with that. Why have you got claws for hands?
And they got longer.
Why,
80s, everything, they got longer. They got longer.
Edward Scissorhands. What's going on?
I said, fellas, this is why you pay. This is why you work hard so you can pay for the nails, so you can control that. This is when the misogyny comes in.
It's true.
This is what.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I'm with you, bro. That's what you say.
I
Babe,
will work
listen,
hard. I
love when you get these type of nails. And since you know that because the woman's gonna say, well, if you don't pay for it, I'm paying for it. Here you go.
for it.
Money's ready in your account, B.
I will work to the ends of the earth. I'll scrape my last $2 together to take care of that.
They're so those nails are nasty work, and I'm saying the words nasty so she can get it into her head. It's nasty. I hate them with a passion. They're not professional. They're not creative. They're not. Yeah, you go ahead and do it, girl. You go ahead and do it. You're gonna lose inches. I'm telling you this. There ain't nothing positive about them nails, bro. Like they're not even the right. I remember one of my friends sent me a picture of what the different nail styles and everything like that. And I can only pick out like 3 or 4 different styles. I can only pick out 3 or 4 styles. That style does not work. I'm just like, I look at it now. You know, there's something beautiful about when a woman do their nails, their hand. I don't mind, even if it's acrylic, whatever you want to do, I don't mind. But when I start seeing that you go for Guinness Book of Records, I'm asking myself, what's going on?
Somebody in the chat said they don't fit her personality. She's too boring for those nails.
Even if she wasn't boring, I hate them nails.
Breathe.
It's not even ghetto. At that point, it's not even ghetto. At that point, it's just like, let's not. This is for the those nails are for creative show. When you're trying to, you've gone to a nail exhibition and you're trying to show us what different kind of nails you can do at Expo. It's not for your day to day. It's not cute. Come on, baby. Type it in your hands.
It's gotten longer. It's gotten longer.
And then you want to touch with them nails too. Get the frick out my face, bro.
She want. Hey,
Will was it?
Scratch it across your face and down your back.
No, not with them nails. I know you.
What's
that about, bro?
Sorry, Precious. I can't help you. I don't do nails. I don't.
Nice.
No, to be fair, these are my actual nails, but like
those are fine. Like we love
those
those nails, natural nails.
We like
those
that.
Nails. We don't mind.
That's encouraging of money. I'm like, hey, baby, we got you. But that. I agree.
No, I agree. They're too much. I don't like nails.
They're gonna get anyway. They're gonna get those nails in the box in the back because that ain't the standard length.
Mm-hmm. She, like when they put the tips on and then they cut it. She just doesn't cut it. She just.
I love Britney, but those nails. Oh my god! I was like, but I think did she get rid of it in AD's one? She
no, it's longer.
Oh,
it's like she added another inch, and I'm like.
She said, since everybody had so much to say, let's make it more extravagant.
She's not getting it. We're not trying to do it so we don't like you. What we're saying is, babe, it's just not. You know what I mean?
That's why you need shame and bullying back, because it's okay to be normal.
Shame is crazy work.
Not bullying. Not
you need shame and bullying, and maybe I'm going a little bit on the deep end, so I'm gonna interject on that. That's why you need a little shame and bullying.
Just put this, into perspective. Ladies, if you have these extensions and long, y'all, the men want to see those hands handling them. If you catch my drift.
Especially if you're in Austin and you're in the tech, like I can imagine the kind of men that won't be finding those kind of nails.
I'm looking at you crazy. I'm like, you got to be working like. You definitely not in office, or you might be.
They said she's an HR executive.
Yeah, she's in HR.
Yeah, you for sure remote. I mean, I like you expressing yourself however you want, but this is why you need to shame people into just it's okay to be normal. It's okay. You don't got to do all this crazy stuff. We know that you are a Brittany gives me sexy homely, like a real sexy chic homely person. That's beautiful. You ain't gotta have them nails.
But again,
And
that's on you. This is the way she wishes to artistically express herself, and that's just not for
Yeah.
you. That's
Yeah,
okay.
you
Just like
exactly. You just
Will
gotta let
likes
them
to
have it.
have. Will has the pearls
Oh,
that
man.
he's wearing and the lace shirt. That's not for many women. That's how he
Yeah, you
wishes
just
to express himself.
And we see
you
what's
gotta
Will
let
happened
and
to
them.
Will.
we
You gotta
bully
let
Will
We
them
see
have
what's
it.
we
Gotta
see
let
what's
them
happened
have
to
it.
Will.
and we said Will
Sorry,
that
We see what's
sir.
happened
dangly,
to Will.
huh?
What?
I said we see what's happened to Will. He back on that market again. Yeah. You want to be
He
picky.
wanted to
You
be
want to
on the
be all that
market.
stuff. You back on the market again.
He
Yeah.
wants to be on the market. I don't think that man wants to be in a relationship, my guy.
And he gonna continue spinning that spinster wheel until he gets that right. I'm just gonna tell you the truth.
Men can afford to do that though. So
No, they can't. I'm gonna tell you
Mm-mm.
straight. Listen, it's a lie.
Because
We've been told. It's not the truth.
both sides like
We get lonely as
the good girls
prostitutes.
gone, the bad
Trust me.
all the good girls gone because you wanted to have a dangling earring, because you want to have a lace shirt. All the baddies gone. All the smart educated women gone. They done married Mr. Suit and Tie with the
Well,
turtleneck. With the
apparently not in
I'm
Austin. He could still get something in Austin.
everybody, I would
yeah,
say people in Austin definitely are into like I
the
don't know if
quirky
these people are
people.
ready for a serious relationship. These are all trans people who are transplanted in here. But yeah, that shirt, that earring is gonna prevent you from finding your wife, my boy. I'm trying to help you out.
And the necklace.
The pearl necklace is hurting you,
Yeah, pearl
boy.
chokers were guts to go, man. That was nuts work, bro. Nuts work, bro.
But
Just
hey,
like I
that's
think that Britney
Migos.
should wear the nails.
That's the
Nah,
rappers, and then that's the style.
I'm
It
sorry.
is.
Just
Since
like
when?
I said about
Since
Britney's
when?
nails, them pearls need to leave now.
In 10 years,
Yeah.
Migos and them wear
Now.
the pearls. Come on,
He
Precious.
Do they?
partnered the pearl. He partnered the pearls with a pink shirt. That's what confused me.
See, I don't
I
listen to the
started asking
Migos. Maybe
questions.
that's why.
I'm sorry. I started asking some serious questions at that point. I started saying, "Sir,
I ain't gonna go
Yeah.
that far because I know there are people who do that, but it's like you trying to like peacock, like you trying to like show your
he trying
feathers
to
and
do
do.
he trying to do like a Prince thing, and
Yeah, and I'm like, brother, you
being a
not.
dandy, but that's not how you do
See
it."
now. Wait. So see now. So his those things that he's wearing. He, what's his name? Will is too boring for those kinds of outfits.
And she's too boring for the nails. They were
So
a
they're
perfect
perfect.
match if they
They're
were normal in
perfect.
the head. If they were normal in the head, and they had all them the little accessories gone, they would have been a perfect match. But
Didn't
Yeah.
Maps Denver show us that, the husband, was it Michael? He was wearing pearls and she was completely getting the ick.
Well, what's her name? Brittany was fine with it. So
Yeah, Brittany
she
was fine
was
with
just
it.
happy for anything. She was happy
I
for
don't think
anything.
At
I
this
don't think
point, she
Will
just
likes
want to
her
be
nails though.
rejected.
Right.
She did.
Most men
I
wouldn't,
don't
and they
think
won't
Will.
tell you.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, I don't think
I'm
Will.
gonna mentally check you off my list. Oh,
On
we
my
can't
list,
win with you.
oh,
You're not on my
that's a
Pokemon
no
I
go.
roster. You
mean,
ain't on my team. We can't win with you in the Elite Four. We can't do that.
If I tell you now, I'm now
listen.
suddenly a controlling, overbearing man who just wants just to be misogynistic, I'm not got the time. I'll just leave you to it.
Yeah, but you'll be telling her what colors she should be wearing.
Mm.
No, I don't know about colors. Colors, I don't really mind. I'm just saying that things like that, nails wise, just doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying to you? Or a
That's fair.
bad wig. I'm gonna tell you, listen, darling.
That's
I
fair.
see the track. I see the
But you
tracks.
don't like wigs. You don't
I
like
don't.
wigs.
I actually don't like wigs. I don't. I'm a natural person. I like the natural. I like no makeup. I don't like no makeup. I like the no wigs. And it's not the wigs. I don't like wigs that are Eurocentric.
Right.
I think if it's another conversation for another day, but
Yes.
they did a number on us. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying to you? It's very hard
Yeah,
to have a
Oh, you want
conversation with people.
you
the
want
platinum
you
wig,
want the yaki wig.
the platinum wig on the black woman. I
I
don't
don't
Jojo
mind
like.
a wig. No, I don't
Jojo
mind
wants the
you.
yaki
I don't mind
wigs,
you
the
playing. I
curly
don't mind you
wigs,
playing
the
around.
afro
But
wigs.
it's like the consistent push towards that being the standard is what's frustrating. Like a straight bust down. It's like, oh my God, that's the most. It's like, nah, you don't realize the colonizer has done a great job on us, that now we think this is like the best hairstyle you can ever have. But when you come to the motherland in Ghana, everybody leaves a bust down behind. It's so funny. You come to Ghana and during December time, everyone now is rocking Bantu knots. They're wearing. I'm seeing. I saw one girl with a sexy little I don't know what it was called, with a mohawk in box braids. They do all these hair. And I'm saying, wait, what's happening? And the excuse is always that they're protecting the hair. And I'm saying, no, it's not. It's the fact that when we're here in the motherland, we feel comfortable because this is also what's celebrated. But when we're back in Europe and we're back in Western culture, a bust down is celebrated. So now we assimilate towards that culture. But
I
honestly,
get that. I think it depends, though. I do think it depends. I think it depends, like, because, for example, like for me, I've never in my life worn a wig. So I think it just depends on what you're around and who you're around that influences what you decide to do.
I do at times, Precious, but again, it's the natural, more look and curls. I'm not, and two, I don't have the patience to be flat ironing. But Kojo, when you're ready to have that conversation, I'm here for it.
You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh yeah, I would be ready for that. That's a good conversation.
I was gonna say,
and while we're having a conversation, I could be taking my hair down from a protective style.
Yeah. I'll start taking my braids out. Just be like,
we would support you. The fellas would support you because I think a lot of us really like it. We just can't really say we don't like.
Yeah, but Easton, some of y'all are horrified at the process. Some of you don't.
I got your shedding wig in my drawers.
No, not the wig. When we're taking the braids down, some of y'all are horrified at the process.
That's when you look the fine. I'm
telling you.
Talk to your brothers.
When y'all got the gel braids.
When I see the tracks and the braids.
Talk to your brothers.
You're the finest.
Looking like Tasha for power.
I agree. There's a lot of brothers who are not like that though, but there's a lot of us brothers who really love you in your natural state. And then as soon as we say we love you in a natural state, not you, there's a lot of women that we're like, that's because y'all are insecure. You don't want us at our best. But you don't wear makeup for us. You wear it for your other women. You're not competing for us. You're not wearing it for me. You're wearing it for other women. So when I say I don't like makeup, you're right. I don't like makeup because you're not wearing it for me. You're wearing it for other gal. So what am I going to do?
Wearing it for herself
too. Natural state.
I think women who take offense to that comment are operating out of insecurity because they have a different relationship to makeup, and it's an idea of like, well, they might feel that, oh, I'm not pretty without makeup. So for you to say that, it's like I can't take the compliment. I can't believe that you're trying to call me beautiful without makeup because that's just not how I see myself. Because the reality situation, for example, like me, 95% of my life, I am not wearing makeup because we can't be asked for that. If I'm going out, then I'll put it on. But majority of the time, I'm not wearing makeup. So if somebody says to me, oh, I prefer you when you're not wearing makeup, I'm like, okay, that's good then, because this is how I am 95% of the time. So if you're okay with that, I'm okay with that. But I think if people then start to say, oh, I think you're insecure, there's a projection that's happening because it's not somebody's saying to you, oh, I think you look great or better when you're not putting anything on your face should never be something that you should take as a bad thing.
And I ain't gonna lie to you. I was on Instagram the other day and I see somebody added me, and when they added me, I looked through the photo and I said, damn, they have such a pretty face without the makeup. And then I said, wait, are they just doing bad makeup? And I said, no, I just think their face actually really is better without. I think some people actually are better without makeup. I do think their face. I think, and I get it, but just like we all fall to pressure of society, we join in with things that necessarily just to kind of fit in. And I'm not mad at it. Do you know what I mean? But some people generally do look better like without makeup. It's like your face is fine without makeup. You have a beautiful composition to it. You know what I mean? Like, feel me, Precious.
Thanks.
Nice cheekbones. Anyway, you're gonna say Elsa?
No.
We love y'all in all different forms of fashions and shades and hairstyles and makeup and no makeup. We love you in all forms.
And talk to your brothers.
We talking to them. You know what I'm saying to you? We talking to
them. That's a non-subtle cue to bring back your men's panel. Talk to your brothers.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna be okay.
There's a great renaissance happening I think isn't there more men that are looking for marriage? That's looking for marriage than there are women. Like this is a great renaissance is happening. The man we're leaving Egypt and we're coming back home, y'all.
I mean, hey,
and we gotta take the scraps. We gotta take the scraps and put it back together.
We was in Lodabar. We trying to get back.
I'm all for men leaving Egypt. I am. I feel like we should all be in a more secure place.
Yeah, but I need you to come. Precious. I need them to detour before they come right back from Egypt. Go wash in the Nile before you come back. Okay.
Yeah, that's
with the alligators.
If you survive, then you are worthy. If you survive, you are worthy for your lineage to continue.
I'm coming out limping. I'm over here like Ricky in the Wild.
That is too funny. Like
a wounded animal.
Let me put on the Kojo voice. Well, everybody, we're at the 3-hour mark.
We are actually at the 3-hour mark. Honestly, we are. And it is time. So, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful experience. We thank you for joining us for 3 hours of Married at First Sight. I know they're going to release Married at First Sight next season already, before the end of the year. So, or is it next year they're doing it? Is it January? Next year, January. Is it January they're going to do it all?
No, not January. I thought it was like February in time for Valentine's Day.
Okay, so February time will be the next one. So they're trying to churn out a few different things. But yeah, it's been good. I've enjoyed myself watching Married at First Sight. I think the new format's not too bad. I think they could just spread it out a little bit more. I mean, 4 episodes in the beginning and then 3, bro, like, you know what I mean? But I get it. They want to get all the weddings out of the way. I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? True. I totally understood it as well. But yeah, I don't mind the new format. It's a lot to consume in the beginning, but as time goes on, it's much easier. The 2 episodes a week or whatever is actually decent. I think a good play. But hey, listen, time is up. And audience, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. We'll be back Saturday for Ready to Love, the next episode, and break it down. It looks spicy, I can't lie. People out here cooking Jamaican food for people. You know what I'm saying to you, showing other competitors who they definitely have chosen. I think she overplayed her hand a little bit. You know what I'm saying to you? I think she overplayed her hand a little bit now, if I'm talking about dark arts. But she may be able to rein it in. If Devon's too far invested and doesn't have good boundaries, she may be able to rope him in and tell him, sweeten him up with a little beard stroke. You know what I'm saying to you? But, once she get you there, the siren gonna get you. But listen, my time is up. I appreciate you guys. Stay locked, stay loaded. We'll see you again soon for another enthralling Married at First Sight experience. Ta-ra, ta-ra. Good night. Little black, you know what time it is.